Fighter League, episode 13, day 1. And I can't believe I'm saying this. We are in the final month. And I mean final month of play, but we still have more action to go. My name is St. Cole. I'm Drooling Vicious. Dog, what can the people see on the menu today in terms of the fights tonight?
Well, we see Nagoya Oja Body Star, Mildon Beast getting ready and gearing up to get some points possibly against Hiroshima Team Ikusa, unless the former needs to really kind of get, push themselves up into the ladder a little bit more. But I'm really kind of curious to see if Ikusa is going to step up to the plate and kind of play that role as, point preventer for a lot of these teams, right? Considering there's only 2 more weeks left of regulation play for this team, but not just that, but we also have Good 8 Squad facing off against Gyogun. That is also going to be a very, very close match for 2 reasons. One, Good 8 Squad is just within reach of actually falling to 2nd place if possible, but Gyogun also just within that fine line to make it into 5th place, which is exactly what they're looking for to make it into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And speaking of the playoffs, we went from the tryouts into the draft pick, into the league play today, as you see, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We are only a few weeks before we get to the playoffs, only a few weeks before we see who are in those final 5 spots, in those final seats. We're going to see that later on this month. But as you pointed out, so close to that qualification line, Gyogun just only 10 points away from V6 FAV Gaming out here, and that means they need as many points as possible. And the great thing about League is the fact that it's not only about acquiring as many points as possible on your side, but preventing points on the other side. Team Itsuka, probably out of the running, but they're going to try to play spoiler out here to Nagoya Oja Body Star, who is, looks like 40 points, only 40 points away from Good 8 Squad. So if a 40 bomb does happen on the side of Nagoya Oja Body Star, they'll be in contention, and if Good 8 Squad doesn't leave with anything, they'll be looking kind of dicey for them.
Yeah, it's a really close call considering there's only 2 weeks left, right? This is going to be the moment to get that run back and make it as, as hurtful as possible, right? We were taking a look at what had happened in week number 6. Hiroshima Team Ikusa actually fell short considerably against Nagoya Oja Body Star, 0-40. That was the big 40 bomb that Nagoya actually needed to start seeing a little bit of that upward trend in the graph that we usually kind of see towards the end of this show. But with all that in mind, I think there's a lot that Hiroshima Team Ikusa has pretty much done to kind of get themselves acclimated to even where they're at currently in the positioning of Street Fighter League, right? They're still trying to do their best out here, and that's more than we could really ask for, right? We're going to see a bunch of specialists step up to the plate with Gunfight as well. We also have Storm Kubo, Inaba, the entire, I kind of maybe spoiled it a little bit, but, we have plenty of players here, even Crusher, too, to even call out. But overall, I think I'm really excited to see how this fluctuates between the top 5 teams, right? I wonder if it's going to play in a way where Nagoya Oja Body Star can secure better seeding for themselves going into playoffs, or just fall short entirely. We'll see how it plays out, right? The spoiler team is going to be here to try to take as many points as possible. It's Hiroshima Team Ikusa, led by the man who calls the returning Storm. It's Storm Kubo with Abigail. Shining through with a glittering personage, it is Gunfight with both Alex and Oro. And we'll see which character comes into play. But one thing's for sure, the Ikusa star, the crux himself, Inaba, with Bison, is going to be a big problem. And hopefully we get to see a little bit more Crusher so that he can say that one line, "See ya, cowards," to the rest of the competition with his birdie.
Fantastic team out here. Despite the score being what it is, they have been strong competitors. We've seen it even outside of the league staying solid. Crusher in that top 8 spot at CPT once again with the birdie. But they have to put a lot of work on the line to stay fine against the likes of Nagoya Oja Body Star, Midland Dom with the beast. But first up is the lightning speedster himself, Akira, with that candy play. Always aggressive, always accurate. And the legend himself, the beast, will feast. That is Daigo Umihara with that guile play. Right after is the attack on heavy tank with the Fudo, bro. That is poison with the toxicity and the Mika if need be. And last but not least is the White Omen himself. We are still waiting to see him shining bright out here. Nardi-kun rounding out this fantastic team of top tier talent in the 3rd place position with 290 points so far. Let's see what they do today with the peace sign already holding up the fingers. I wonder if we're going to see something like Bravo as we go through this match.
Yeah, he actually kind of scared me a little bit when he was slowly starting to pop off a little bit. It was very subtle, and then he just started yelling for no reason. But let's take a look at the away team roster, who they settled with. Gunfight, Inaba, and Storm Kubo with the roster of Alex, Bison, and Abigail. Now, just off of first glimpse, who do you think you'd be sending up against Alex?
There's a lot of choices you can set up against Alex. Daigo would be great, but I feel like Daigo you put up in the anchor position. I think Narakun might be time to shine out here. I think there's some things that this character can do, Akira I should say, can do against the likes of Alex. And if there's a time for him to shine and get really short up, especially for the playoffs, I think he's got to go up first. I think it's time for him to put in the work with those crouch mini kicks, get those confirms, get those corner carries and things like that, and utilize that fantastic V skill. But the speedster looks like he's going up first instead.
Interesting. Now, that's not something that any of the players had... Actually, no, I take it all back. I was actually looking at the wrong chart, at least who was going to face off against one of the Alexes. Although I admit that Daigo and Fudo would have very solid choices against Alex specifically, either Guile or Poison to take care of the work. I do like Akira's speed style, or at least his aggressive kind of Kami play, to keep the other person guessing, and his volatility on defense, right? If Gunfight ever were to kind of catch somebody slacking, I think there's a lot that Akira has on the other person to kind of fear his wake-up options more than the Oki. So I think sending him out is also Hameko's choice, too. So the Kami versus the Akira versus the Gunfight match is exactly what he had predicted prior.
Well, that makes sense. I like that option too as well. You know, that fast-paced style. You talk about those wake-up options. It's not just about like wake-up, you know, light punch and things like that, wake-up EXDP, or even normal DP. It's like TK dive kick. It's those unique options, and then how he varies with the timing too as well. It's not always I'm going to wake up immediately TK dive kick with a deep dish with it. Sometimes he'll delay it a bit, and it catches people off guard, and that leads into Oki, leads into damage, leads into the continuous pressure that Alex can't really deal with. He got buffed in some great ways to help shore up his game plan, but on defense, he still lacks and slacks. You have to go for the EX knees if you want a really solid anti-air choice, because Crouch Fierce doesn't always reach in. You have to spin V-bar if you really want to get a punch against a dive kick. So we're going to see what happens on defense in terms of Gunfight. But I like his offense. I like his offensive style. If he does catch the likes of Akira slacking and lacking out here, that's a crush counter into 40%, and she can't take as much damage. Lower health value this season. Gunfight says, just as I imagined, I prepped myself. I'm hoping to show some GGs today. And Akira says in response, since 2 weeks ago, I've been training with Kichipamu. I'm hoping to win this.
I don't wonder if that would mean Kichipamu had been practicing as maybe Alex. In the meantime, I wonder how much of that practice specifically against Kichipamu, who is pretty much a grappler main. He's played Zangief, he's played Abigail, or like the kind of brawler archetype with Abigail. I don't know how much he's done with Alex, but I mean, he knows more than I do. I'd love to check the CFN for Kichipamu in the meantime, but having that kind of training under his belt, no doubt in my mind, at least he's getting himself in the grappler mentality to face off against. So I'd imagine with Akira, I want to know like how much of that training is really going to pay off against someone like Gunfight, who has a kind of different style of Alex.
Right. So far, Akira's record right now is 4 wins out of 10 games that he has played. Last time we saw him, he lost to Pugera. So not a bad amount. Gunfight, though, is 2-8 in terms of the games that he's won and played. So a little bit lower on the side of things. But again, the pedigree out here makes sense in terms of what you're dealing with. But I want to go back to what you're saying. Like, I'm curious to see if the Kichipamu style matches up to Gunfight style, because it's not only the grappling mindset, but also how how Gunfight utilizes those buttons, how he utilizes the 4 fears, the sweep every so often, things like that. I feel like he peppers those big buttons, those big crush counter buttons and sweep buttons in every so often a little bit more than the other Alex players, and it helps him solidify the matchup a little bit. You're always watching out for these big buttons that are going to lead into damage, to extension, and that's what Alex wants to as well, and that helps make you pensive up in the neutral.
Yeah, I kind of want to see this become a pretty explosive match. I want to know what happens when Akira is forced in a plus situation or against the plus situation where he's kind of locked down and he has to guess for game. And I want to see what happens if Gunfight is on the receiving end of all the Kami barrages that could potentially come out, right? As soon as Kami can get you in the corner, there's just so many different types of medium pressure that she can go through that leads into frame traps, that can lead to big damage, and even get a loop going with throws. You know, Alex can potentially do the same thing. He could pepper you with a bunch of mediums. He could hit you with a lariat as well, right? There's so many big threats and so many explosive moments with these two characters. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen on defense, more importantly, than the offense.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to be utilizing in terms of the V-bar 2 as well. For Gunfight, that V-ship is going to be very pertinent into his game plan. Being able to like V-ship away from the dive kick has been such a good game plan against the likes of Cammy. When you fight Cammy as most characters, being able to punish those situations makes it so the Cammy player really has to think of jumper situations. First match of the day, Gunfight versus Akira. Cammy versus Alex. Let's get it.
Man, that loading screen, I feel like the transition into the loading screen didn't give me a chance to check out the V-set.
Yeah, it was too quick.
Oh, mad quick. I know we're talking about the speed star here and the captain, but come on, man. But all jokes aside, we're about to find out here in game 1. Cammy versus Alex. It's Akira versus Gunfight. It is going to be the V-skill 2 V1 or V-trigger 1 from the side of Alex. And pretty much mirrored for the side of Akira as well. Already off to a stun. I'm ready. Back will do it.
Jabs, jabs.
What are you supposed to do about it?
It's a command grab. Get this hold. If there's part at the bottom, you could bust out, but it was already the end situation right there. Gunfight keeping it nice and tight, and those jabs, you were looking for the throw. So was Akira. That's why those jabs were able to land over and over again. First win right here to Gunfight.
My man Akira is breathing heavy. He is breathing so heavy. If you look at the player cam, he's oh no. Oh no. We talked about the volatility on defense. Gunfight absolutely ready for it. I told you the explosions were coming, and he just set it off. Gunfight, 2 rounds in a row, starting things off with a perfect. And look at that. Just about what? 15% taken from the life bar? This guy has all the right reads.
Expeditiously, this man is on the Grizzly, mulling this cat up in the corner and making even a cat like Akira feel unusual. You will point out the fact that my man was breathing heavy. The reason is Gunfight too steady. This dog, with all that pressure, making this man bust out twice with EXTP. And I don't typically see that from the likes of Akira. I watch him constantly on the stream, and even in League, he switches up what he does on defense. But 2 EXTPs, waited and baited. Bruh, Gunfight.
I didn't block that. I'm gonna tell you right now, Sinkola. There's no way in hell I blocked 2 in a row. I got 1 and I'm satisfied. I'm like, all right, bet. I got you. Now I'm gonna just, get my offense going. I did not expect 2 in a row. This guy, Gunfight, has come prepared, ladies and gentlemen. This is the kind of Gunfight I like to see. I mean, he talked about it in the pregame interview. I have prepped myself. I'm hoping to show some GGs today. He's done so already with game 1. Let's see how it plays off in game 2, baby.
Oh, but here's a costume switch right here. This is where Akira feels most comfortable, being able to switch off his costume when things get dire, when things are down to the wire. I'd like to see a little bit something different here on the defense. The wake-up positions have been a little bit too explosive on the side of Akira. Let me calm down just a bit. Finds a buffer off that fierce in the round start medium kick, and now going in. Here is Akira, the speed star, getting in with the fierce. That could have been the end. Fortunate, wasn't able to convert.
I'm ready. Ooh, forward throw. So retains the hard hit, by the way. Or actually, not the hard hitter, too. It's V-skill 2. He gets to cancel special in the special. Forward throw from Akira. We talked about the medium pressure. He started things off with a back medium punch, and Gunfight still found a way to thread the needle.
Jeez, the Abare. Okay, you still feel this. Has to go up in the corner. This is where Akira has broken down. Has to leave, but it can all go away with one good play. Slap drop the parry. He was very, wasn't able to get the follow-up. Unfortunate in the light kick to do it at that right distance. You see Akira reeling back a little bit in terms of what he puts on the table, the economy of buttons, not with punishing light stuff. I like that from Akira.
I genuinely thought he was going to be able to parry that and then go into a sequence. Unfortunate. What he's supposed to do? Sorry, just hit. Already tracking down the movement against Akira. Ooh.
Back row. Back to the screen we go. There's that Oki off the spiral arrow, caught up in the corner, medium kick to kind of check the waters, test the waters a little bit, see if it's time to dip in.
Not quite yet. Akira's not going to go full force into the water just yet. We do get a full conversion off the crouching medium kick, and now again, we get to talk about that Oki situation. Even after a forward throw in the corner specifically, you do get that opportunity, but now, speaking of opportunities, Gunfight's knocking under the door. He's got the V-trigger on deck. Already locked and loaded.
For reaction, This Gunfight with that EX chop, unfortunate. And now Akira has built enough bar for that super. All he needs is one confirm.
No.
Yo, caught the medium kick. Now he caught in the corner. What's your defense, Akira?
Oh, no.
Holds the EX, connects. That's enough.
No.
That's enough.
That was a guess and a half. He got a reaction punish on the medium kick, and then he forced the guess? Oh no. Oh no.
So go for it here, try to get that forward fierce anti right there. Did not work out. Here gets a nice little jump and puts him in the corner. Backs away for that medium play. Nothing off that crouching kick, but I like that distance that he stands at. Medium kick, the crouching kick range, not overextending, not going in too explosively to get that win. And finds a buffer off that fierce. Nice spiral arrow right after.
Oh, jeez. He just got caught with the back throw. What do you do after the trigger activation? You see him buffering away too. Plus frames. The Universal saves Akira from the torment in the corner.
Once again, on that part of the super.
Uh-oh. Word? Uh-oh.
He doesn't fear a dang thing. He don't fear a dang thing. The bar at the bottom. You know there's super at the bar at the bottom, right? You know that Akira can hit you and end this match right like that. But Gunfight, still, the obstinance.
Ooh-wee. This is tough. This is very tough. I'm waiting to see if Akira's gonna look for a whip punish. Nope, he's just gonna go right into his passive speedster style. The big reactions against Gunfight, trying to dash in, and you can see the amount of focus and the amount of energy it took from Akira. My man let a big sigh out. He was rubbing his forehead. He's like, sheesh. He was focusing so hard on trying to catch this dash against Gunfight.
There's so many things you got to worry about. We already saw the medium kick being simplified, but then there's the EX stomp, EX elbow and things like that with that bar at the bottom with the quickness. You're so afraid of getting hit with anything. He was able to catch that dash, but still down to the wire. And the fact that Gunfight, not afraid to go in on these super situations, the bar at the bottom flashing, saying, don't come close, don't get next to me, or it'll be over. I love that from Gunfight. I love that optimism right there. I love that aggression. Game point for both players.
I love this. There's a lot of awareness that comes into mind when it comes to like both of these players, revolving around what's happening with the V trigger and what's available in resources. I do like that back and forth from both players thus far, but now Akira is going to be the one to make Gunfight bleed first, but that just gives Alex more fuel to the fire a little bit early. Yeah, you see the trigger activation. Akira, he's trying to escape. No, sir, he was in hot pursuit, but Gunfight let go, and he dropped the ball off of that single hit. And now it's going to be all Akira. One more touch. Gunfight didn't have the answers. Looking like Sway in an interview with Kanye. He didn't have the answer. He ain't doing the education.
We got the answer, Sway. Kick, nothing off that play, but we'll get the fierce and the buffer right there. The spiral arrow for the Oki, but challenging right back like that is Gunfight off that line. Poor Fierce gets a command grab. Stun is rising. Heavy kick, trying to catch him rapid. Black it. Oh my God, that would have worked. That would have been ridiculous. We're now caught in the corner. How's your defense, Gunfight? Him down. What a whip punish against a heavy kick.
About it now. The interruption, back to back, Gunfight. Looking clean. Watch out for the grabs. That could have been dangerous. He could have opted selected that, I think. I think he would have been able to chase it down.
Yeah. We're gonna do this round. We might do it again. We might try for it, I should say. Get shot and play. There's part at the bottom though. Akira looking for that confirm. To finish it. Gunfight gets the EX connects.
He just built that bar. He just built that bar for the double backdrop off of that hit. Are you kidding me? Final round. What a block from Gunfight too.
That defense, innate defense is looking real good. Into the DP. Yo, the cross up throw though puts it right back in the corner, bro. In the bar at the bottom. Cross up light kick, B shift. Out of danger. You're a stranger. Get away from me. But still, Akira looking to seal it, and will do so after that confirm. And he's going to be able to kill right here with that perfect KO. And what a statement right back. I can do that too. You're through. Akira, the speed star.
Man, coming in from a very, very explosive start from the side of Gunfight, getting the first game, and then crumbling 2 games straight. And you know, when it came down to the last round, I did not expect it to go in ways of a perfect from Akira. I think there's a lot to be said in the way how Gunfight handled the pretty much the second to last round, right? He was so tunnel visioned on the fact that he actually got that W off of the EX double backdrop and being able to get that. I think he wasn't able to recover from that moment to prep himself for the final round.
It's real unfortunate because Gunfight, you know, had some fantastic things to say up on defense, staying solid in these mix-up situations that would have caught a lot of people lacking and slacking. And in fact, they're going to talk about the anti-airs and things like that and catching up the bust-outs, which I think are the two most important things that really happened up this match. He did a good job of staying away from those jumping situations. However, Akira able to thread the needle and make the most when those did happen. Also were deadly. And on the ground, Akira's grounded gameplay has been fantastic this season, being able to have these buffers, stop all these approaches, and man, oh man, these jump ins actually land. All of them landed, it looks like 4 out of 4. The 4 jump ins, I felt like there were some anti-airs right there, but I guess it did not happen on the side of oh, I guess there was one anti-air. My bad, I mixed it up. So Gunfight was able to at least anti-air once, but not twice. 4 times though, stopping the aerial approach coming through, and the bust outs getting got continuously. I thought it was over for Akira after that happened. It takes a lot of mental stack to rear it back after you do 2 bust outs and get smoked for that decision. But someone like Akira able to pull back, stay solid, and really keep that ground game on point, on lock. Fantastic play. 10 points on the side of Ojo Star Miladon Body out here.
What? Did you do a remix?
I mixed it all up. I was like, wait. I hit it with the flip mode.
I was like, wait. Did he really just get the turntables and do the flip? He gave him the Missy Elliott, man. Yeah, okay, I like that. Nagoya Ultra Body started taking 10 points to their name. Akira starting things off right against Gunfight in a manner that was pretty close, though. But you got to admit, that was a very, very close call, at least with the way it went down to the final round. It just so happened that Akira maintained his composure for the final part of it, but this is what's going to be very tricky. Inaba coming up next from the away side. The big counter is actually going to be Fudo with Armika. I think this is also something that Hamiko had predicted, right? The poison could have gone for Crusher if he was in play, but if it's going to be Inaba, he wants a piece of that Bison with Armika for sure.
Yeah, we saw how that happened previously against Dogura, the likes of Dogura last time that we saw Fudo step up to the play, and how he pieced up Dogura continuously, knows how to fight that matchup. We see if you whip even a standing Fierce, not even a down 4 Fierce, the Fierce EX Peach immediately puts the game real fantastic for Fudo. And I remember back in 2019 where Problem X was watching the match between Fudo and Dogura during the finals, and he was like, this is just a nasty matchup that you have to hold all that pressure. It's better this season, you know, with V-shift to V-break. However, we can say the same for Mika. She could V-shift a lot of what Bison wants to do with down 4 Fierce. And how strong that Fudo looked up against Dogura, I think we might see that here against Inaba.
How often do we get to see that in play from the side of Fudo? I think like a decent amount where we saw like maybe like a Psycho Axe kind of punished with a V-shift from the side of Fudo. Again, he took it down against Dogura last week, 2 games straight. I kind of wonder if I kind of wonder what Inaba has in mind to kind of succeed in where Dogura didn't, right? But before we even get into that, we got to take a look at the rankings thus far. Fudo has probably one of the better scores in comparison to the league, right? Fudo is, I think, currently second in point earnings with 130 points to his name. 8 wins out of 12 matches thus far. And you can see how that chart went down as to which teams. Again, we're taking a look at 2 anchor positions, 3 anchor positions that he won. Very, very critical for this team. And on the other hand, of course, Inaba with Bison, he's starting to see a little bit of that success, I feel like, in the latter half of the season. But to be honest with you, I think, you know, I really enjoyed seeing the way he's been playing. Even though they haven't equaled W's, like they hadn't led to W's, the way that he's been playing has shown me that he's really figuring it out little by little, right? Like his runbacks have been so much closer than the initial fights he's had in the beginning of the season.
He's definitely a lab, right? We see these little minute things that he utilizes in matchups. They don't always come together, but the fact that he has these things in mind means that it's going to be a different sort of battle for the likes of Fudo. Despite the fact that it was so dominant on the side of Fudo when he fought Dogura, I think Inaba also has a different sort of lab rat mentality when it comes to studying the game and these minute decisions. We see that when he fights like the Gachikun and how he deals with like Rashid, the corner pressure, stuff like that. It helps shore up that defense. And I think that defense is a little bit better than, you know, what Dogura does in terms of, like, Dogura's innate defense is really good. But what Inaba Inaba chooses to do on defense, like his usage of EX Inferno and stuff like that, is also really good on his side of things. Inaba says, lately, I saw Dogura has been beat. Hope I'm not going to end up the same. And Fudo actually has some nervousness on his side. He said, I won so well against Dogura. Well, a bit concerned and anxious about that. So maybe thinking about the fact that Inaba studied those tapes and said, I don't want to be like that guy, like that Dogura. I don't want to be like him.
Yeah, this is the kind of matchup that I really think is going to really rely on the utilization of the V gauge. I want to know exactly what it's going to take for both of these players to kind of let go of that and not have to rely on their comeback factor, or at least the offensive pressure that they can actually have off of their V trigger, right? I think Armika, her V trigger is more of like the comeback factor. I think there's a lot to be said with the Deshko kind of dropping through the roof or breaking through the walls like the Kool-Aid Man. But from the side of Bison, I don't believe it's going to be like as big of a comeback factor. It does give him a command grab, but like, you know, Armika's already got access to that by default from a baseline skill set. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to be played out from the defensive end for the V system, for the V gauge.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Bison, if you're going to use that V-bar, you're going to use it with the quickness, right? You're going to have to use that up expeditiously because you do not want to be sitting there lacking without any V-bar for defense, for even the idea of V-reversal or V-shift or things like that. You definitely want to have something in the bag for defense. Let's see what happens here. You also have to check that aerial approach. Splash is a big deterrent. Yes, it's risky, but if you change up that aerial approach, it's going to be hard to stop. And Bison has to go to the air like that, the air-to-airs, the hell attack, or the crouch fears, both predictive options. Let's see who's going to take it in this second match.
Here we go. It's going to be Fudo from the Goyo Ojo Body Star versus Inaba from Hiroshima Pizza. Again, they're looking to prevent points from going to the wayside for the Goyo Ojo Body Star. See how successful they truly are after that. As it stands right now, Fudo already off for a great start pushing Inaba to the corner. We talked about the pressure here that could happen. But defense, Fudo, nice and easy, right? Taking to the skies, a little bit more air activity instead of just sitting there.
Yes, sir. Goes for the grip. Meaty kick. Medium with it. Dash in. Light. Test the waters. Gets a throw. One more hit will do it. You can't whip a damn button. The bar at the bottom means that if you whip it down 4 tiers, or if I get that crouch meaty kick, it's over. Just like that, the fadeaway play right here for Fudo is fantastic. That crouching meaty kick being more confirmable means that that corner pressure gets a little bit more deadly.
Yeah, the counter confirmed. Nice and easy. Already into the corner again. Inaba. He's going to be building up that V gauge up the trigger soon. But I love this. Yes, fighting and checking a lot of the movement away from Fudo. I love that also. There it is. The V shift break. Ooh,
knockdown. Get the idea, but just button a little bit too slow. Down 4 fierce though. Clips him with the counter hit. All the pressing buttons. The challenge though for Fudo once again a wake up. He shifts away from danger. Talk about that V-bar being utilized something different with it. The V skill 2 from Inaba, but it's not going to come into play today. Might see, if we're talking about that V-bar build up, might see the target combo from Inaba and the V skill 2 being exercised. What happened?
Oh, he just ran into the fierce. It's already a huge start, a big change for the side of Inaba. The mic performance, no! He tried to get past the mic, but it was still active. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's so unfortunate.
That B skill 1, can't leave that off the table. We saw that from Dogura. B reversal drops it down to the ground. B shit. Still caught in the corner. B reversal offensive style. Stay hero. Wow, with the gray live, it's gonna be a lot of damage if you get hit. And the bar at the bottom means there could be a super play. Taking the break. Super. This should be a punish. Yes, sir. Bro, that is a ton of damage. That is a ton of damage with the microphone. One more touch.
That was disgusting. That was actually kind of disgusting. My man Fudo was absolutely ready with that punish. Against the misplaced scissor kick? I don't even know which version that was, but I'll tell you what right now. If that was a light kick, that's a bad look. That is definitely a bad look because being within that range and committing to a light scissor kick, you best believe Fudo would be ready for that. Even if it's the medium kick scissor kick, right? And that's going to be highly punishable with Mika's super.
Yes, sir. Set himself up for success right there. Puts himself on game point. And careful with the scissor kick situation. It's rare that you see Mika with all that bar at the bottom. However, you see him get carried to the corner. Try to get that back throw though. Challenge on the dash, and this time with the light, like that interruption from Inaba. The kick, max range, goes for the V reversal for some great life, and get that knockdown.
Oh my God. Here we go. Irish whip off the wall. She got it back. Yeah, I'm still not used to it. Watch out for the grab though. Yeah, the V-shift call out from Inaba again. He is so scared of the command grab. He is so terrified of the command grab. No one can blame him.
That was reversed, but the disco from the top rope. My God.
Just busting out. Literally fresh from the gulag. Right? Just dropping in from the helicopter.
Ooh, I like that EX option right there. The armor busted through the normals right there. So smart. Utilizing that bar for a different sort of reason. It's throw up in the corner though. Down 4 Pierce at that max tip. You can't finally space it out a little bit better, but the V reversal every single time. Just get that knockdown. Continue that pressure.
We haven't seen Inaba try to even go like air to air with Fudo just yet, right? He's been caught off guard in numerous instances where Fudo's been able to kind of jump in at those awkward angles, but reversal again. You know the motive here. Fudo is looking to keep Inaba in this corner, and here comes the blender.
Find an opening. B shifts away. Flip out though. Fudo knew what to do. EX against the blast. He's in. Command grab. There's the grip. One more good one will do it. We're like building up. Reversal jab. Find a way out. EX blast gets the space up in this place. Now goes for the back throw. Round 4 Fierce. Just a fierce beta reaction from Fudo. I like that. He's locking down with the EX blast. But the reversal jab means that Fudo is one touch away. One hit away from that play. And the throw will do it. Fudo taking it 2-0 over another Bison.
That could have gone either way for that round. Most definitely, and I do like the idea behind Inaba trying to force out like the V-gauge usage from Fudo. You had mentioned, like, you know, utilizing that standing heavy punch instead of going for the traditional psycho axe to give you that meaty as Bison. Right? One of the biggest reasons is because of what we talked about earlier. Having that V-gauge on deck allows you to V-shift and give you some of that time to punish something like a psycho axe after a back throw scenario specifically. So the idea was there, but you know, at a different time. The read wasn't quite there for Fudo, or against Fudo. Fudo was already 2 steps ahead. It's like, you know what? You're gonna give me this, I'm gonna just be big chill.
Absolutely. I would like to see maybe the switch of the V skill. To be honest, the drop kicks were coming through for free, and I wonder if that would have been kind of a deterrent to part of those options, and maybe even some of these jump-ins at a weird angle. But however, Fudo found the finish with these weird jump-in angles where Bison can't really reach in either way. But man, Fudo with another Bison on his mantle, another Bison head on his mantle, and gets the victory.
Ooh. I don't know if to feel good about that or not, because lore-wise, Bison is a bad person. So, all jokes aside, though, that is another Bison player on his mantle, that's for sure. And I gotta say, like, that's pretty much gonna be the last of it if I remember the schedule correctly. But taking a look at what we have here for the stats, the anti-air department, pretty on point for the side of Armika. Very, very difficult from the side of Bison. Didn't have to really endure much in the anti-air side, but one of the biggest things was Fudo using the air mobility as more of a chase down rather than like a mix-up opportunity. There have been numerous times where Inaba had not been able to track down Fudo mid-air. But again, that's just how it goes. 20 points for the side of Fudo. It's up to Storm Kubo to potentially bring us to a tie game, a sudden death match, if you will, with that Abigail. Who are we sending up next?
I mean, Daigo got to come through at this point. Finishing off the job with Daigo. He's got to be able to clean it up. You know, Naruku's still a strong threat, I think, but in the likes of a character like that has medium punch, back fist, and things like that, like Abigail with all that range, I feel like he can do a decent job against Akira. Let the Gao come through the side of Daigo. Storm Kubo, though, I feel like he's starting to find himself a little bit late, obviously, in the game of the Street Fighter League, but starting to find himself. The last time that we saw him, he beat Ida-san's Abigail with his Alex. He's coming up today with the Abigail, but I feel like overall he's finally found himself in the league, found his way of playing. But this is Daigo, and this is a first degree Daigo. We talked about long set Daigo. He is like the Batman of the FGC. Longer the set goes, the worse it goes for you.
Yeah, Storm Kubo definitely has his moments where he excels above and beyond like the rest of the competition. We've seen that in LCQs of years prior for Capcom Cup as well. We've seen how far he's actually gone in his competitive career. There's no doubt that I think that Storm Kubo can definitely duke it out with someone like Daigo, but there's just something inherent with Daigo where you give him more sets, he's going to have more time time to download you. That's just how it goes. But in regards to the matchup itself, this is going to be such a matchup of mental fortitude, right? There's going to be so much to deal with in the neutral. It's specifically with the fireball game itself. Like, what are you supposed to do against somebody who has normals that can reach just as far as yours with heavy intent, right? With, you know, the spinning back fist, or even like or the spinning forward heavy punch, right? Or you also have like the burning straight, which is back heavy punch. You also have roundhouses up the wazoo, different types of roundhouses to kind of occupy that space. It's like, what are you supposed to do here? Like, how are you going to try to counterpoke somebody who could switch it on between normals and projectiles at a flip of a switch?
I feel like it's a battle of chaos versus control. The control comes from Guile. Guile's play is all about control, as it always has been for that character for years after years, right? Controlling what you do on the screen, where you position, and all that stuff like that. With those fantastic normals that you mentioned, plus the booms with the great zoning. For the likes of Storm Kubo, I'd like to see some of that chaos come through, because we've seen how that chaos is exercised when he's able to get a crush counter and make the other player panic. Preempt the crouch fierce against the fireballs, getting that right range for the medium, harassing him, and canceling into the EX every so often to put some armor on it so that Daigo gets caught lacking. And all it takes is a few interactions, because Guile doesn't have the best health in the business, and we want to see how the B-Trigger is utilized too as well. B-Ship can help out in the break to delete the fireballs off the table, but I want to see how that B-Trigger, that Metro crash to get in, that may help the situation. Let's see, first of 3 between the two teams.
And this is not going to be the first time Daigo has had to deal with a big body, right? You know, we've talked about their matchup in the, you know, the first half of the season against Hiroshima Tsuchika. So Daigo had to face off against Crusher, got himself a 3-1 victory, and a very dominant one at that. 2 games pretty much right off the bat. I wonder if we're going to see the same results here. Can Storm Kubo change it up a little bit and rewrite history?
The future. Back fist immediately against the fireballs and the flip kick to make him fall. Can do that B skill now as freely with more recovery on that. Storm Kubo knew what to do. Anti-air, drops him right back down to the ground, so back to mid-screen, still harassed up in this corner.
We talked about Sonic Booms being such a frustrating thing to get around. Made it a little bit easier this time around, but still a nuisance nonetheless. So Kubo doing a great job already. We see Daigo pretty much cornered here, but he's definitely been one to fight out numerous times. Already trying to utilize the V reversal.
Flash kick, sits him right back down to the ground. Gets the knees. I like these poking motions right here. The side of Daigo, that forward meaty kick that helped him get out the side of that corner, exemplifying more of these buttons. The anti right there, the back fist, trying to catch him lacking. Storm Kubo walking back in the corner, but Daigo thrives up in the corner. He thrives anywhere up on the screen. Uh-oh.
You thought you put me here? No, I actually preferred you. Oh, that big juggle.
Watch out for the super. Careful flash kick. Actually goes for the anti-air.
Oh my god, he went for the jump again. Oh my god, the big explosion off of the low medium kick. Storm Kubo getting the EX Abigail punches against Daigo, catching him moving. That was so close.
He's at that distance to be able to get that, which takes quite a bit, because the Abigail punch reach definitely got nerfed. Good stuff for him to be able to take that in the face of all that bar at the bottom of Daigo. Uses it right here for the flash kick. EX addition, get the knockdown, and again, locking down, falls to the V-skill fireball. Gets extra damage. That was sick.
Oh my god. And I love this approach too from Storm Kubo. Despite taking a little bit of damage, he's willing to kind of walk the Sonic Booms down. And he's totally running. Having that much stamina. Oh, but taking the big risk with the V-skill 2 down below. He was looking for a parry.
Gets that walk-in right to the cross mini kick. Flash kick again. Even more dominance in terms of the aerial approach from Daigo. Instead of just going for the anti-air with the normal, he's putting the flash kick to put more distance, so you have to navigate the maze of moves. This time goes in for the walk-in throw.
Frames after that. Abigail toss after the run. EX command grab. Target damage incoming, especially in that corner. Watch out for the grab again.
He called it. Actually went for the parry. Oh, man.
Could have had it. The standing medium punch landed. Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have. He hit him with a stand medium punch, and he opted to cancel into pretty much nothing. Essentially nothing.
Gotta believe. Perfectly placed anti-air.
Back to square one is what it feels like. Frames after that. So gonna run. Oh, did you see the panic from Daigo? He's like, which way do I block?
Oh, man. What do I do? What do I do? Do I P-ship? What do I do? The parry this time works out. Back this into Abigail punch. Really want that bar at the bottom. Corner pressure has been fantastic. Kubo has the light. Trying to get the parry. Flash kick though from Daigo. B-skill dash in. Sweep activation. Careful with the bar at the bottom. Can't be slinging out some of those booms. That bar at the bottom could go for the super. Gets close enough. He's looking for it. Kubo hunting for it.
It's so scary. Oh, that could have been a whip punish. Kubo wasn't ready for the forward fierce. Oh no. Don't blink. Don't blink. Critical art's there.
Don't whip the pressure. You need to kick too far out.
Also.
Anybody's game. Watch it in the medium or Kubo. Say you stepped in it.
Thought he was gonna
you get hit.
He thought Kubo was gonna sit still. I'm actually perplexed as to what. I mean, the read could have been like, all right, I'm gonna walk all the way up, then press a normal at the very last second. The very last second. And I get the idea, but man, that was a very, very big read from the side of Daigo.
You see that corner pressure from Storm Kubo really closes out these games, and I love that. He pushes Daigo to the corner, even though the first half of the round goes down, where he loses so much health, and sometimes so much bar, he's able to capitalize in that corner pressure position, and that immediate punch is such a good starter for a lot of this team as well. And that crouch immediate kick too as well. He's doing a fantastic job of out-poking Daigo.
Dude, if he manages to get Daigo in the corner again, that barrage of like lights into like the stand medium punch being +5 on block, he gets so much control out of it. He spends so much of the time of the game in the left side of the screen. It's actually kind of ridiculous. It's hard to say who's really got the upper hand though, because Daigo's been doing a great job of fighting out of said corner.
Ooh, that was meaty. Gets a follow up in the flash kick right after meaty boom to his one, lock him down. Careful though. Not the end of the round. This boy has bar at the bottom of that feature. That's Metro Crash. Start off the sweep. Crouch Fierce. Ooh, man grab. Caught him blackened. Oh, that was sick, Daigo.
That's rough. Actually, kind of rough.
That's real rough.
Like, what are you supposed to do about all this? Like, he's trying his damnedest to like walk and block as many of these booms, traverse past so many of these booms. But once he gets up close, it's like, man, it's sometimes it can be a real pain.
It is. You see Daigo going for the X flash kick to get some distance with it. Let's reset him back to the corner position. But here we go. Up in the corner though. But here's Daigo walking in. The mediums. Got this weighted. That fierce every so often here from Kubo looking for a crush. Gets the fireballs. Flash kick again.
Start over.
Almost follows the boom.
We gotta start over. Come to me. This is what I set up for you. You thought you could jump in? No, sir. And again, just covering that positioning, or covering that spacing with the forward fierce at the right times. Really keeping Storm Kubo on his toes. Again, try again.
This is looking real difficult. Storm Kubo trying to get a jump in. Not gonna happen. The anti crouch light kick, counter hit, nothing off of it. Maybe too far out for the extension. These mediums harassing the +5. Toxic positivity. Be reversal from Daigo. As soon as he got that B-bar, and one more hit will do it. He's got the bar at the bottom, could make the comeback, and this will definitely help. The super.
It's not gonna kill, but it's gonna give you Oki. You could set up for a medium punch or a throw. Oh, for nothing? Oh, he was so scared.
For nothing.
He was shooketh. He was shooketh to the core. He was like, this is the time for Daigo to throw out an Ume flash kick. I just know it. And he never showed up. He never showed up. He got stood up on his flash kick date.
I sent her Vortex. Why is she coming through? Left on red, you're dead. The likes of Daigo being able to stay so soft in the corner and not be red in terms of the defense. That Storm Kubo left the gashes too far. And Daigo, with even more control when the rounds go down, not only in the beginning, but the end, flash kick situation, getting so much distance, and he controls when he wants to come in. Here's the crush off the fierce.
so dangerous too. You see how reluctant Storm Kubo is to pursue any sort of meaties on offense. Just the fact that Daigo has one bar, he's just afraid of it. Like, he doesn't want. He really wants to prioritize his corner pressure. For after this, yeah, +5 again. Stand medium.
At this point, you just have to expect that Daigo's either going to go for EX flash kick or a V reversal to reset the position and change up what you do on offense. However, Storm Kubo is doing fantastic right now. Has a lead, has a V bar at the bottom, and can't find the finish. He just needs to get in with that crouching heavy kick to activate or fierce crush.
Reverses out, finds success. Metro crash. Is that gonna be enough? Even with the scaling? It sure is. Storm Kubo not even allowing Daigo to get out of there. That, to be fair though, I don't know if there was enough time for Daigo to maintain a flash kick charge out of that.
Yeah, you're right. He just woke up. Really just put back to sleep. I like that for Storm Kubo. Utilize that beat trigger to cut through the boost, even the EX edition. The beast's gonna have to find an answer for that beat trigger now. Oh, he just looked at the rest of the lady on the beat skill. Unfortunate flash kick, falls the fireball again.
There it
the
is.
Second time.
I was waiting for that to happen again. Oh, the big crush. And look at how much estate he gets off of this and the damage. Dash up, standing medium punch. No, it's a command grab. Now he can do it again. Ooh, he's so afraid of Daigo's offense. He's so afraid of it.
Look at that activation point, probably what you wanted. Unfortunate back fist though. Check my wrist. Abigail punch into the super. No, not just yet. He's gonna follow up with the Metro crash to get the maximizing amount of damage. And this is a ton. It's almost done. One more touch. Oki, hold this throw.
That's the one. If that was, see, I like that from Storm Kubo, right? Unafraid to take the risk against the EX flash kick. I'm totally down for that. Like, he had to make that kind of call. He kind of shook his head a little bit. He's like, man, I don't know if I got lucky there. You have to take that. You absolutely have to take that. It's like, all right, you stopped Daigo from throwing out an EX flash kick. Let's do it again.
Gotta switch up what you do on offense. You can't just like lack aside. You can't just back away. You can't be having that timidity, right? You gotta make it sweat like humidity. Oh, that's bars. However, I like the fact that we see something different from the side of Storm Kubo with that corner offense. I feel like that's been his best play throughout this entire match, where he's been able to maximize things, and what he does on V-Trigger has been fantastic too, as a defensive tactic against the EX booms and the booms that have reset the positioning. So, for Storm Kubo, he is putting the onus on Daigo to stop this obstinance. Like, you got to do something against this corner pressure, this V-bar usage, the things that I'm doing. Daigo's gonna have to think about what he does against Special Crash especially, and to get a bigger lead so that if he does get hit, he's not gonna be deleted for 40–50%.
It's kind of tough. I think Storm Kubo has done a great job of utilizing the Metro Crash in instances where Daigo have been like, he's been kind of reluctant to even try to find the counter for it. Like, he's moved so many times over. Like, you see him kind of fidgeting between like holding back and down back. He hasn't been completely ready for the unblockable version or the guard break version of the Metro Crash. But even outside of that, I think thus far, I want to know whether or not he's going to take the initiative and move a little bit more against Storm Kubo, or if he's going to keep to this style. I like this. Look, now he's playing a little bit more movement heavy rather than the Sonic Boom game.
I like that. I mean, this is what we want to see from Daigo overall as the seasons have gone on. Is, you know, the booms are great. The booms are fantastic. You are giving them bar, even on block, even more this season. So utilize those normal. Get a little more aggressive with it. Keep that mid-range game and not get caught in the corner, especially if you've lost so much health. Anti right there, switching that up. Instead of just going for the flash kick, find something different.
He's maintained the charge enough to get an anti-air, but that's going to be just fine for Storm Kubo. That's a medium punch. You see the reluctance from Daigo. He's still trying to utilize this movement against Storm Kubo instead of relying on the booms. And every so often when you see Storm Kubo kind of jumping around now, he's trying to force him to play the ground game.
Got the Sonic Boom, anti right there, keeping it nice and close and compact. And honestly, that's dangerous against a character, a cat like Storm Kubo, and a character like Abigail. Upside down kick the dash and getting aggressive with it. The beast is not done.
Look at how much of a difference there is in Daigo's gameplay, and just basing it off how much life he's got, you could tell this is kind of phasing Storm Kubo a little bit. Ooh! Throwing vulnerability! Yo, taking a walk in the park as well? In space, I should say.
EX gets the knockdown. Back throw. Knees. Lock him down. Set a step up. That allows for Kubo to get that medium and that corner push off the Abigail. Punch.
Seeing it, yeah, the back fist and the turning straight right afterwards from Daigo. What? That was actually kind of wild. Yo, the roll on the sweep allowed him to duck under, what was that, the forward heavy punch from Daigo? That's crazy, but not quite dead.
It's a big boy. It's an overhead from the likes of Daigo. Always forget that this character has it, and it's a tall boy to clip the head.
You mentioned it. He's a tall boy, right? He's a big fella. He's definitely susceptible to a lot of these instant overheads. Daigo, definitely a carrier of one of them, as if he needed it. But I will say, all jokes aside, I'm loving this adaptation from Daigo. I want to know, now Storm Kubo's being put to the test. It's like, what else do you have for me? Can you manage my offensive style?
Kind of go back to the older style that Daigo used to have. I mean, this season, we'll utilize that bar for the super. You see some of that bar utilized for the flash kick situation. Now Daigo's doing the wrong one, keeping the bar at the bottom for that super close out. He does not want to get caught with that thing of the robbery. Final game between the two, back fist, checking it, and roll it back away. I hope that's a play.
God. Oh my God, the burning straight catches. Close back throw. That gap is widening a little bit between the two. Daigo be fishing too. Oh, look at the damage too. Daigo sees the light at the end of the tunnel. He sure does. He punishes the sweep to attempt into trigger in full force as well. Look at that match point.
So smart with it. It's so confident of this mid-range gameplay, even close-range gameplay where Abigail can make you melt. Those medium punches have been harassing the super. That's a big thing right here, at least to get some pressure going and flowing. However, that's a lot of bar spent. Only for like 25% and that slight corner push. Daigo undeterred back fist immediately. Anti right there with the crush. Denies the flip. Gets the flip kick too as well to follow up.
That crush counter was actually kind of disgusting. He was able to walk up and still get the down forward heavy kick. My God. Storm Kubo doesn't even need to go in. It doesn't even need to press his luck as much. This is where it all comes down to. Ooh, that Abigail flip would have been disastrous for Daigo had he not backed it up with a boom. Guess again.
Sweep, punish, lock down with the fireball. Careful with the EX bar at the bottom. With a block in time. So one more bar. EX activation. Shooting kick for 2-4 out for the Abigail punch, I believe. In the back fist check, my wrist. Daigo defeating Storm Kubo and taking it back with that aggressive guile style.
Aggressive indeed, man. That is such a big switch up, but that's just how he does it. He's able to play in the longer set. We literally prefaced this matchup with the longer you leave Daigo alive, the better his odds are of taking down the matchup against you. So that is just living proof. He's making us look good, to be honest with you. He's done that a bunch of times, and you know what? It still stands, it still holds weight to this day. And fortunately for the side of Hiroshima Team Ikuza, although they've sold a lot of jerseys, I will say they're the most bought costume or outfit on Street Fighter V. Unfortunately, it did not translate to the same type of success for this week's matches. They still have one more match to play next week. We're looking forward to seeing how they perform. As for Nagoya Oja, body scar with a big 40 bomb. Guess what, St. Cola? You were talking. This is actually going to be so crazy. You literally talked about how close they were against first place. They've broken the threshold and have tied with Good 8 Squad officially with 330 points. That is amazing.
That is insane. That might be a first in terms of getting so close to the top spot, not only in this league, but the previous league. I'm going to have to check my math on that one, but honestly, look at that. Breaking the threshold, being in the grand finals border zone, and honestly, they may be able to keep that if Good 8 Squad walks away with nothing, but for right now, Nagoya, Oja, Body Star, Meladon, doing the most. Another 40 bomb in this run back, solidifying the clapback. Fantastic play from all the players. Fantastic position of the characters. What they should do up on defense and offense. Akira especially starting off real strong. I can't wait to see what he has to say. He's such an emotional person. He always pulls up his stream like right after, and he's like so emotional about either win or lose. I love seeing that come out in not only his personality but also his play. So big ups to Nagoya Ultra Body Star for this fantastic victory. He's gonna try to play spoiler, wasn't able to do so. It was definitely close down the wire in some of these situations, despite what the score may say. But man, just too dominant. Akira says it was the most nerve-wracking game, and I was most nervous. Couldn't see the eyes of my teammates. Thank you so much, Kichipamu and others, for helping him get solid for these matches.
I felt for him. Like I was primarily watching how he was looking in certain instances, and you could tell the amount of stress Akira was truly under. Like there's something to be said about having to play off against like grapplers at this stage of the game, or at least in this kind of like upper echelon tier level of all like the Japanese players, right? I guess I gotta say, like that's tough when you don't have that much Alex experience, right? So it's like, what are you supposed to do when you're put in a situation when you're playing pretty much flip the coin, you're playing 50-50 every single time? I will say, Akira pretty much hedged his bets pretty well, or at least hedged his odds pretty well. Also with his offense, not having to rely on defense as often. I think there's a lot to be said with the way that Akira navigated on offense, more so than his defense.
Absolutely, I think he did a fantastic job of looping that. We'll see that in the replay. But Fudo was saying, I was able to play well today. I'd like to win one last episode coming up. And Daigo himself said, I was nervous, and with the team to get some advice, I was nervous. While for Daigo, of all people, to say, even the Beast has nerves, but was able to stay solid, and I can't wait to see what Naruto says. He'll say bravo? What is he going to say? Bravo! Yes!
Jesus.
Bravo, bravo.
A little too early for that, Naruto.
May I say this? We'll say in small words. Bravo. The stern look on his face. This guy should be an actor, man. That was actually that was guttural. That came from the soul, man.
But Naruto, I guess to note right there, one of the second players did say bravo after winning this trade today, so I wonder if that kind of influenced him to say it again. However, it's again another win from Nagoya Ultra Body Star, another 40 bomb, and a lot of points right there, sitting in the top spot alongside good 8 squad. Fantastic play all the way through. Bravo! Bravo!
Bravo indeed, as Nagoya Ultra Body Star again being able to translate big W's against their team. That's universal. The amount of points that they've been accumulating have been pretty dominant, pretty up there, right? You don't need a Nakaunin to figure out the math on this one. I can tell you what, they've been pretty successful. Dang! Look at the amount of anti-airs successfully countered. That is the most, I think that's about as much as like everybody's, okay, I'm not gonna say everybody's combined, but at least for the week. Dear Lord, 30 out of 32? Get this man an award for that by itself. That in and of itself is a feat. That is a CFN accomplishment. If there's any sort of like side gimmick that they can add to the game, that is a CFN accomplishment. That is a gold medal accomplishment in the world of Capcom Fighters. That is true.
Don't get those points right there. Some FM for that. But man, oh man, those jumpers had to find for free. But let's find this first match. Akira versus Gunfight. It was looking real strong from the side of Gunfight, blowing up the defensive options continuously and putting Akira up in the corner. We had to make some harsh decisions. And that stun with the quickness and that low amount of health got things done. Gunfight was just harassing the corner with the light and blowing the intention of, you know, if you try to go for the throw, there you go. We also see the anti-air, and we also see the punishes to optimal stuff for this corner carry. And man, oh man, the double EXDP got, and I thought it was over. I'm gonna be real. I thought it was over for the likes of Akira. However, he was starting to rock things back a little bit. Less committal buttons, able to eat through, and some of these options too, we see right there with the parry, wasn't really able to get things going with that parry to find the follow-up. And Akira just able to stay a little more solid in terms of finding confirms, less punishable buttons, working his way out of these corners, and checking the dash too as well. Even though the intention of DX, elbow, and other forward-moving things could clip him, he stayed awake and aware and finished it off in style in the same way that Gunfight started things, with a perfect KO in a different sort of way with the super. Dang, Akira.
going into the next matchup. We talked about the confidence of Fudo going into this, considering he had just taken down another Bison, one of the best Bisons to ever do it, and he had to face off against another one of Japan's finest. Inaba wasn't able to shake off the offensive pressure given to him by Fudo. There's just so much to be said about what happens when Fudo gives you no way out, right? Inaba, he did have himself a couple of rounds, but there was also a little bit of a slip-up, and by a little bit, I mean a lot, considering the amount of red after that critical art. Not being able to get a successful scissor kick, light or medium for that matter, you're still going to get punished within -4 or -3 because of that super being that fast. But overall, Fudo, again, having the upper hand, it was a consistent knowledge check, and Fudo just happened to say checkmate over and over and over again without Inaba getting a say-so within the matter.
I gotta say, a lot of jumps were coming into play right here from the likes of Storm Kubo, maybe the most of the season. I'll have to check my math, but it feels like 32 jumps is quite a bit. But that's what you kind of have to do. Jump fierce, jump heavy kick to get against his character, against the booms. However, the lockdown was real strong on the side of Daigo. Storm Kubo did have some great moments when he put Daigo in the corner and forced Daigo to switch up what he does with that bar usage. We saw a lot of EX bar utilized early up in the set, and Daigo had nothing to close things out, nothing for that win condition situation. So Daigo held onto that bar as much as possible to close things out with a super or switch up what he wants to do. Storm Kubo, once again, corner position was fantastic, switching up with the command grabs, the lights and things like that, kept him locked down with the medium, but I felt like just let up the gas too much. There was a point where he backs off just a little bit, think there might be a flash kick, finally gets back in the game, but then Daigo just so dominant with the anti-airs, locking it down with non-EX reversal anti-airs, the jump backs, the reads on the V-trigger, staying away from the V-trigger activations and things like that, and just making it an easy wrap. And look at that walk back, too far for the crouch kick, Abigail punch. Fantastic play from Daigo today, and the entire team, a 40 bomb, letting them tie up once again with good 8 squad.
It's going to be a problem. It's going to be quite the intricate problem, but way more entertaining for us, to be honest with you, and the viewers at home. Gyogun has a lot of pressure riding on the line. Can they manage to suppress good 8 squad and have them in a position that they haven't been throughout the entirety of the season, which is below first place? Is it possible for them to hold on to the momentum they have now to prevent Good 8 Squad from getting a W this week in order for the rest of the teams to catch up? It's going to be a pretty big deal. We're taking a look at the merch. Yamato's choice. We've talked about this earlier in the pregame warm-up section of Capcom Fighters Japan. Yamato had actually talked about the #1 selling merch in regards to the Street Fighter League. It might have been these shirts, but it also happens to be the costumes within the game. You are able to buy like the tracksuits with the jerseys or with the logos on it. The Hiroshima Team Ikuza is the #1 seller thus far, according to him.
You know what? According to him, all right. Well, hey, I might buy one of those. And I'll tell you one thing, the closed beta test finally answering our call. Remember, a couple days ago, we were like, Capcom, please give us a beta, give us something. Not a release date, but we get another beta. So if you've already entered the beta, you're in for this one. Looks like they might be opening up for a little bit more of the closed beta test sort of thing. So I'll see y'all in the streets soon for Street Fighter 6 in terms of the beta test. The 16th all the way, I think to the 19th, I believe. That's a whole weekend of fun, bro. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to play people around the world, really test out the netcode, play a little Ken. I saw you talking about Ken, hopefully keeping his mix up. I hope they keep that with that character because he is so much fun in 6. He is so cool.
All I want to do is mix people with Jinrai kits. That's all I want to do. But one of the biggest things I do like, cross-play on all platforms. That is the biggest thing that I've been looking forward to. And guess what? St. Cola and I are going to be hosting a bunch of lobbies. Make sure y'all come through. In fact, we might even play ourselves to get ourselves ready for the big playoffs happening this month as well. It is the month of December. Where does the time go? I feel like Thanksgiving barely happened for us Americans. But on to better things, though. December 29th, the playoffs are going to be happening for SFL Japan, and it's going to be coming in full force. If you guys haven't done so already, check out all the information you can. Capcom_esports JP, or Capcom_esports in general on Twitter, has all the information you can to get yourself ready and order the show on the day of. But if you can't do that, you can still wait for it just a little bit later. It will be coming to you in full force regardless. As well as the grand finals happening January 21st. You guys don't want to miss that. I am definitely super excited to see which one of these teams will be able to face off against the champions of SFL EU as well as SFL US this year.
Bro, that's going to be happening at Capcom Cup. A whole week of Street Fighter fun. A whole week of Street Fighter fun. I can't believe I'm saying that. You get Street Fighter League, you get the group stages, you get the LCQ, and you get the finale coming through too as well. And this week, we're going to help solidify who's going to be that World Warrior seat, because we have the 5th one coming through for Japan. And then after that, during Christmas, you're going to get another present, right? I think at the end, beyond Christmas, I should say, we will get the last World Warrior event. The final top 8 will be solidified for that for Japan too as well. See if these teams, a lot of these team members are sitting in the point contention for the top spot for the CPT. So this one, this weekend is definitely going to matter.
Oh, that's going to be huge. I don't know if it's going to be Christmas weekend or not. I think it might just happen to be Christmas weekend. But it's the present, that's the gift that keeps on giving either way, right? We still have either the World Warrior events, we still have, you know, the playoffs for Street Fighter League. Well, we also have that beta test. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, there's so many players to go through, or so many characters to go through. You know, you see 8. That's pretty intimidating to me. I can barely juggle 2, to be honest with you. But you don't have to do too much juggling. You can just wait alongside the sidelines, get yourself some water, get some snacks. We're going to continue with the second half of Street Fighter League Japan after this short break. You don't want to miss it. It's Good 8 Squad going up against Team Gyogun. We'll be back after these quick messages. Stay tuned.
もよろしくお願いいたします。さらに YouTube でご覧いただいている方々、高評価、グッドボタンの方もよろしくお願いいたします。さあこの後は試合準備のため一度インターバルを取らせていただきます。21時15分頃からは第13節 Day1 マッチ2グッド8スクワット対魚群、こちらの模様をお届けしていきます。それでは一旦失礼いたします。
ご安全にな。
お、新入りかな。いい顔に撮れてるじゃないか。改めて担当教官のルークだ。よろしくな。
手加減は期待しないでくれ。
さあここからはバッジ2の模様を
Here we are,
お届け
ladies
してい
and
きます
gentlemen. This is going to be the match to behold. We have two things that could possibly happen between Good 8 Squad and Team Yogun. My name is Vicious, here with Sankora. The question is, here with Good 8 Squad, will they be able to maintain their lead or even increase it against the other team? Or will this team coming up be able to break the fine line into 5th place? We'll find out, especially with Yogun and their team captain, Mago, the 2D god at the helm with that Karen, primarily with Luke, we should say, alongside Mr. Optimal himself. It's Macha-bo with the Kali and sprinkling a little bit of that Bison as well. Of course, we got the Moonlight Suzaku leading the way, if need be, with Mizuha's Luke, and it's the Hero of Sunrise to round it all up. It's Moke with that ever-impressive Rashid. Now, we haven't seen too much of Moke lately. I'm actually kind of curious if he's going to step up to the plate for this week's away roster.
They're all going to need to step up to play because this is the goodest of squads out here. Good 8 squad, stay at the top spot, tied right now, but has been so dominant for that reason. The Hiroshima Predator is part of it with that Rashid play today. It is Gachikun, Capcom Cup champion. Beyond that is a Cosmic Boxer himself, consistent with the fist. That is Pugera right behind. Third on the list is going to be Kawano, the next-gen champion, Evo online and offline champion, I should say. Kawano with that Colleen play. And then the Wind Devil, he made a pact with the Wind Devil himself, Dogura, with that fantastic dictator on the screen. This team is super mean, and I'll tell you one thing. They are in contention to just take this. If they get a nice little 40 pop, Yogun gonna have to stop that. Not only to stop their approach, not only to stop their dominance, but to also get on the board and get in that qualification zone.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really big game for both of these teams, right? I think with the way you can look at it is good 8 squad, they need to maintain their lead, or they need to maintain their position in first place by increasing their lead, by taking as many points away as possible. But Yogun, again, just being at the very cusp of making it into playoffs, they need to take down this team. It's as intimidating as it is. They're also put on the away side. This is going to be the lineup for now, right? It's going to be, well, not for now, but it's going to be the lineup for the week. It's Mago coming in with Luke, Mizuha with Cody, as well as Macha-bo with Bison. Word, okay.
Yeah, last time we saw the Bison didn't do too well against Lexa Kawano. Kind of got pieced up, and I'm curious to see why we see that in the anchor position. Then again, he could switch if need be, so there might be a reason why he has the Bison pick. I think that character does well against the rest of the Good 8 squad. However, let's stick with what's happening first. Mago versus Kawano. This one is going to be so sick, seeing the likes of Kawano come through against Mago. They've been rivals for a little bit. They've been playing each other for God knows how long the past couple of seasons of Street Fighter 5. I can't wait to see what Kawano has with Calling. We don't get to see him typically that often. Only really 7 games in totality and 3 wins, I believe, yes. And the last time that he fought Mago, he did win. It's the same situation I think that we saw previously. I think when they first came up, it was Mago versus Kawano last time that they did play. It was, let's see if it's the same way. Let's see if there's another win on the side of Kawano, or if Mago's gonna get that victory.
Yeah, I think they're looking to repeat, pretty much have it very similar structure in regards to what the order is going to be. You know, we did see a very convincing 2 games to nothing from the side of Kawano. Macha-bo is going to be a whole different story, and Mizuha actually getting his run back as well. It's going to be the original 3 being placed up on the away side, but as it stands right now, it's going to be Colleen versus Luke. Now, Kawano has had experience with so many different Lukes, like all over the world, and also within the realm of a single weekend over at Evolution 2022 in Las Vegas, right? So I'd imagine he's already got that kind of experience. He's already been prepped for something like this. As for Mago, I understand that he's been playing for so long. He understands full well what Kawano's about in a multitude of different Street Fighter League seasons, but it's a different story when he's piloting a character that he's still trying to figure out, right? In terms of like trying to find success with this character, he hasn't been fully on point in comparison to the other characters under his belt, right? He has a Karen, he has a Cammy, both offensive powerhouses, very much so in the style that he likes to play. But again, even with a powerhouse like Luke, he hasn't found the same type of success that the other Luke players have been able to produce.
Yeah, some of it I feel like it's because of his own internal play, like how he plays in terms of like he's got to be on his day. It feels like he's got to be on his day because the minute the momentum just fades away, it feels like it's hard for him to grasp it back, especially up in the league. Last time we did see them play, it felt like Kawano was able to stuff a lot of what he wanted to do with that back heavy kick and that fierce crush combo buttons. Stay outside that range, about medium punch and fireball range of Luke, stuffing whatever happened and staying super solid in terms of the reversal options on wake up. It seemed like he wasn't able to get going and flowing and find those crouch when kick confirms, find those Oki situations off the lights and the mediums that Luke would love to do, and stay solid in terms of offense. So I know that he probably looked over that match. I don't know why I said I know. Probably he did look over that match, I bet, and got some notes and got things written down and said, I won't let this happen to me again. Not at least in the same way. So he's gonna have some different tricks coming through, but the likes of Kawano will not let a win go to his head. He's not gonna get a win and be like, okay, I'm gonna do the exact same thing to get my victory. He's gonna come with some new tricks too as well. And I like the fact that he's acclimated to this new Colleen. She's a little bit weaker. She doesn't do as much damage. More predicated on corner carry and building up EX bar, continuously loop you in the corner. But she's still strong. She's still a very good character overall. Just has maybe a few more bad matchups than usual, but still can contest as we've seen out here in the league.
I think there's a lot to be said if Kawano was still able to win with a character like Colleen, right? I think that a lot has to be said with how he plays the neutral game so well, and I think his offensive pressure is pretty much elite, world class even, right? But I will say on the defensive end, Colleen, not any lack of effort from the side of Kawano. I think there's a lot to be said in regards to like what Colleen has to do on defense, more so than other characters, because she's been severely changed in that regard. I think there's a lot to be said in regards to like how you can approach her in the matchup, especially with the airborne options. Sure, it's not going to be like the biggest threat or the biggest like pinpoint to breaking down somebody's defense or what they want to do on the ground, but it really disrupts what maybe Kawano is trying to do on the ground, trying to play that counter poke game.
That's true, because like you can't crouch fierce anti-air as well. You have to be AV trigger to have that special range once again that he had, or the character had previously. So anti-air is gonna be a little bit different. You have to go for air throw predictively. You have to go for parry, things like that. You have to go for crouch fierce at the right range, and it's kind of hard because that cross up to beyond that cross up range is kind of difficult to challenge this character. So you have to put that movement if you want to have that crouch fierce to work out. You do have to go for those other options, and they are more predictive. However, when that activation comes through, it's back in business. But you don't want to waste that bar for those situations. So I think you're definitely right in terms of the aerial approaches. You have to watch out for that. Cross-up jump medium kick is nasty for Luke. You don't want him to access any sort of damage at all. Poking into Oki, that hurts. It sucks. But when it comes down to business, when he hits you with that 40% charge up B skill after a crouch medium kick, that's when things are painful. That's when the complaints come with Luke. It's after these conversions that he gets so much off of. Let's see what happens in this first match between the two teams.
I have a feeling I didn't really get to see the V set. It was a little bit too small for myself. But I have a feeling it's okay. I wanted to see Mago utilize V-Skill 2 in this matchup, specifically against something like Colleen, because we talked about the throw loops being very prevalent with his character, or being able to get with some of these consistent throw mix-ups. I would have loved to see Suppressor be shown off from Mago in this specific matchup.
That's true. The tech option right there. Those are a lot of what you want to do, so that wake-up option definitely can get deleted. We'll see though, Mago. We get that V-Skill popped up. Definitely will hurt. Once the medium gets the Oki. Kawano blocking and walking back.
Steady pace that Kawano is going to play out, but we get a big opening. Into the EX flash knuckle for Mago. A little bit of a buffer behind it. Kawano just happened to run into it. What happens after this? Hold on to the ice. Forward throw.
Dash in light tech though. What defense? Now for some offense. Charge up, medium knuckle, dash up DP. One more good have that crouch medium kick. We'll do it. What a jab buffer. Back in the corner you go. But the reversal off the light. That's good night. Mago with the first one.
Round 2. Fight.
Off to a pretty convincing round, I will say, for Mago. Sometimes when he starts things off with Luke, it could be a little bit shaky as he progresses, but not too bad thus far. It is still the beginning, I think.
Oh, the fireball. I see.
The big light kick, too. That was beautifully done. Throw. After that, a little bit of pressure. Parabellum light.
These fireballs overhead. No bar for the activation though for Kawano. However, I see these fireballs every so often for Mago, hiding the attention to the mediums, and it's making it difficult for Kawano to come through correct. Not a lot of damage, but sets up shop for other things.
We talked about jump being an option. But Mago does have the benefactor of the Sand Blaster to keep Kawano away and also chip away the damage. Oh, you see, We see the idea being teased, right? The EX Parabellum, or the Vanity Step, excuse me, EX Vanity Step could be a problem with Mago. Full activation. Ugh.
Yo, my man was mashing that light. He said, if I find that gap, it's over like that. And the DP was going to go for the chip. Either way, Mago, just as soon as he saw the string in, he was like, I'm getting my light. In the super would have sealed it either
like
way.
that.
Man, yeah.
Even afterwards, he ended it with a with an uppercut. That is a lot of confidence. That is a slight delay uppercut to force your opponent into thinking they're going to press maybe like a throw or maybe try to get like a frame trap. I guess you could technically say that's a frame trap uppercut.
He had the bar for the chip too as well, so go for that option. Still very risky as you pointed out because it would have whipped and blocked and been a punish. But however, Mago, this is the confidence I want to see from Mago. This is the all year, all month, all day Mago I want to see. No more September stuff. I want to see him shine all the way through. And he's doing a great job of utilizing this Luke play. And it feels like there's more of that fireball gameplay. We see the preemptiveness from the likes of Kawano calling that out, not being able to read the momentum of that fireball. And it's hard, to be honest. Like, that's one of the fastest fireballs, if not the fastest, possibly in the business. And then beyond that, you see the medium punches, the light punches, the forward advancing normals, clipping Kawano continuously. First game to Mago.
Yeah, and taking a look at it, it could be a huge problem. Cluster again, may not be like fastest to the startup, but I'll tell you what, it travels mad quick. That is for sure. In that regard, definitely the fastest fireball.
I see. Instantaneous.
You blink, you get clipped. I'm not even kidding. Sometimes, if you blink in a matchup against Luke, you might eat a sandblast.
That's a 10% for what? Is that crouch medium kick? EX, medium knuckle, knockdown. Scratch my eye.
Imagine having to sneeze during a match. Yeah, it's huge. That's rough. That's low forward EX flash knuckle right there. Ooh. Get the heavy impact, the full conversion from Mago. That was actually kind of tricky.
Everyone puts him in the corner, throw, put him in the coffin, challenge on the wake up, able to activate, be safe and solid. Feature going to make it even harder to navigate this maze of fireballs. The dash in, good block though from Mago, caught in the corner though. Light, going with that bar in the sequences. The reversal jab again. That shit, no dip. Doesn't even need to do it. Medium kick. Gets to save that bar. That's so important for Mago. Now with the EX Fireball too as well, or the super, if he wants to close things out, looking real nasty for Kawano.
Yeah, you see Kawano kind of get overzealous. Oh boy, and I love that. Yep. He knows full well that Mago was fishing with the low forward, already preemptively throwing out that standing light kick, and now in full control. Nope, not today actually. After that air throw, he got checked.
Walk back, clip against the 4 fierce right there. And Kawano got to make the most of his corner pressure. Has a way better lead right now. We saw last. Crouch kick into the blast. Medium, off the target combo. Oki, back rise, no surprise. He's still there. Reversal jab off the back walk, I should say. Back in business.
I was looking for a big activation as well. If he manages to land that activation, it could be lights out. Maybe like a touch and a half because of V-trigger scaling. But if he manages to get it raw, whatever situation raw into critical art, it might be it. Oh. There it is. Yep. That's got to be it. That's got to be it. 2 hits after that. Very minimum scaling. No scaling at all, actually. Oh my God. He had... Man. It didn't matter. It did not matter. I legit thought that was going to be death. Anybody else could have called that wrong, but it just happened to be me. But again, very little scaling behind it. That could have gone either way, but luckily Mago managed to seal it. I even feel like even Kawano might have thought it was over too.
Yeah, he stood up immediately, and the dash in light came through in the clutch right there for Mago. He was like, "Oh, wait, I'm done." "Oh, wait, I'm not." He was like, "Quick controller," but I thought it was over too as well. The amount of damage that was dished out right there, looking for that bar usage. We talked about how important it was for Mago to go in with that round with all that bar at the bottom, hit him with the super, almost sealed it, got that crouching light kick. He did what he had to do. Mago with a dominant win, a reverse of what we saw previously. Man, Gyoka kind of fighting back tonight.
I like that. So did Kawano, I actually didn't get to take a look at his player cam. Did Kawano actually move up from his seat? Like he actually let go and he was just like, oh man, I'm done. I'm done so here. Because that would have been wild if he did.
Sato, what are you standing up for?
応援コメントはちょっとこう
In a reverse way.
返すような一発になりましたが、さあスタッ
I
ツ見ていきましょう
believed it. I legit thought it was going to be over and done with because that from that much life left, it was literally down to a pixel. So there was literally 1 damage away. Taking a look at the stats, a very much so grounded approach. There were a couple of instances where Mago may have had to jump in. I think there was a setup where he actually had a potential cross-up, but he did jump fierce and ended with a throw and tried to get like a Kawano slipping off of that. Like, you know how people kind of fake buttons in the air to make it think a cross-up's coming so that they're not ready for the throw? That's usually what happened, or that's exactly what happened in that very moment. But the anti-air not really counted in that regard. Still 10 points for the side of Gyogun, which means that puts them tied up with V6 Plus FAV Gaming right now, just for right now, because they also have their game to play in the second half. So it's going to happen after the weekend.
Yeah, we're going to see, though. It's not over just yet. They're going to leave with a lot more than that. Not just the appetizer. They want the whole dish with it. We'll see what happens. But I like that dominant start, though, for Mago. That's got to feel real good for that team. However, Dogura is going up next. Dogura against Mizuha.
Yes.
You know, I like this option overall. We've seen Dogura do fantastic against Cody players. Even outside of the league, I've watched him have really good game plans against Alexa Cody. Mizuha, though, something different with it. I feel like that grind the past couple of months has been just fine for him to be up at the top spot in terms of Cody and figuring out how to play this character and put his own style on the deck. At first, it was a loop this season, or early this year, I should say, but he has been sticking with the Cody, and I like his play. We'll see what happens to them two in the second match.
What is happening on the side of Gyogun? Moke be acting a little funny. Definitely acting a little funny. But what's pretty much serious business is Dogura coming in with Bison. You know what's funny? I think a lot of players have kind of like tuned into this strategy of Bison being able to play off against someone like Cody. I think there's a lot to do with it has a lot to do with Bison being able to control the mid-range just as well as Cody does. He may not dish out the same types of like big damage outside of like a crush counter, but I think there's a lot of control that Bison can have. And also if he wants to close the gap, he can do scissor kicks if need be, or even EX scissor kicks. And he's a battery too, so he will get that option sooner than later. And one of the biggest things too, if he's up close, one of the biggest difference makers between the matchup between these two on paper is the fact that he has a 3-frame light normal, right? That could also spell a huge difference in the frame trap department, or even trying to find some of those gaps against Mizuha's offense. So we'll see how this plays out. We've actually seen this strategy pay off dividends for a Chris CCH for the West Coast World Warrior event, taking down Nephew. So I'd imagine it has something to do with the way Dogura or one of the other Bison players have been playing against Cody. We've seen a handful of them thus far in the league, and so far there haven't been that many consistent counters. I think this might be one of them, or maybe a very close fight.
Yeah, I think it's fine for Bison. Like, another thing that is really good is that Cody players love the medium kick, right? That starts up, you know, for medium punch. That starts up for counter hit into like other buttons and things like that. That also starts up for the amount of bar that they build up. However, medium punch on the side of Bison against the medium kick of Cody does fantastic. That wins out most of the time. The down 4 fierce cannot be challenged for the likes of the 4-frame that Cody has. That's really imperative for 3-framers. They'll master light some of these sequences. They take their turn back or take a trade if they time it right. However, Cody can't really do that. And on defense, he's lacking and slacking. You have bad stand, you have wake up B skill, which are not really good options against down 4 fierce, and all the situations that Bison puts you in. He puts you in the corner, you're through. Preemptive things like blast and buttons in general from Bison, like medium kick, also stop Zonk. So where Cody wants to stand is where Bison thrives, I think, overall. However, Cody, if he gets those hits, he can kill anybody. He puts you in the corner with a Zonk charge combo. Everybody eats 40% and everybody suffers. So we'll have to see what happens in this match. I like it overall that we see Dogura going up against Mizuha. Mizuha says, I was going to end the extra game with Gachikun, but hey, even if it's Dogura, you are my good matchup opponent. Dogura says, good call, Mizuha, because it was either me or Gachikun to play the second game. So right now we're going to see Dogura versus Mizuha.
Excited to see this matchup, right? We're starting to see this kind of new matchup develop as Cody's have been a lot more prevalent this season. I'm really excited to see like how often Bison players will find success against Cody, especially after matches like these take place. I want to see if this kind of shifts the meta. We've talked about how Cody have been Cody players have been coming out of the woodwork with some of these Ws because of the changes, right? The significant changes. I want to know now if, or I want to know in the future if Bison is going to be that character to put this one in his place.
Someone like Dogura can definitely show us if that's the capability, if that capability is there for the character, because he's the top spot in terms of Bison players. We've seen that last year. We see it this year. He just has such a good style. He just knows when you want to press. He knows how to interrupt you. He knows how to get as much damage as possible off light and medium confirms and things like that. We don't really see a lot of like 6 setups with V-Trigger 2, but really don't need to. Solid play is fantastic for Bison. And one of the best things I like from Dogura is that good innate defense. Maybe Inaba has good technical defense, but innate defense. How to stay solid in the face of EX Zonk over and over again, plus frames and things like that. How to stay solid when you're caught up against the corner. When to spin your V-bar for V-shift, V-reversal, stuff like that matters a lot for Bison, because all he has is really a 3-frame to his name in terms of a reversal. So seeing Dogura stay solid in the face of a lot of what comes through for Street Fighter V, because defense is such an important thing for Bison, is fantastic, and it makes him one of the most notable Bison players in the business. And he's been doing a lot of work out here in general. 8 out of his 10 games, he's won. So that's a fantastic record at the top spot, around that top spot, I should say, in terms of player rankings. So quite a bit of points on the line.
Yeah. There's 5 other players that have been like some of the best in win acquisition, but in terms of like the points, this guy Dogura, he's in 7th and still like above average, right, with 100 points to his name. Not bad at all. Here we go. We're gonna see what the V-set's looking like for both players. And imagine for Cody at least the sway, and oh boy, take a look at that down below. It's V-Trigger 2 for the side of Cody, V-Trigger 2 for the side of Bison with V-Skill 1.
That option, he gets a heavy Zonk counter, he got the fierce follow-up too as well. Hold this throw in the corner, try to get that medium, far out for that button. Activation. Now, time for Dogura to shoot first, side switch, off the second crusher. No bad sand, pocket sand in my eyes.
Keep it in your pockets. Keep them in your pockets, hands where I can see them. Oh man, the deliberate walk forward, catching the counter hit off the medium kick. The full conversion. So hold that. Target combo mid-air too. Oh, that was so slick.
Out of there, falls the fireball. Was aware, locks him down. End of the round right here. Mizuha. Real dominant play, getting out of these counter situations and poking to the defense of Dogura. The side switch off of the jump in is absolutely imperative now for Mizuha to keep this corner pressure, doing a fantastic job. We talked about the counter poke game. There we go, hell attack. Out of the corner now, forward throw. A ton of space left for him. Yes, sir. Scissor kick, trying to find an opening. Neutral jump, sees the idea that I will jump on you if you come through with that scissor kick. At any range, too. Walk in with a medium kick. I like that little poke right there. Do something different with it. Careful of absorbing the fireball. You're careful. You're wary of the hit off with a medium kick. Activation from Mizuha. Trying to get that grip. Buffer.
And even after that song too, with a little shake on the screen, you already know that's charged up. That's a +5 scenario. So oh, and speaking of detention, look at this. Hopping in and out of the ranges where you think you're trying to grab me. Not today. It's all Dogura. Guess what? He gets to play in the back off style that he likes to. He gets to be as passive as he wants to and just wait for you to pretty much give him the W. And that's so. Oh! Word? Man, grab. Oh my God! The big hammer. He gave him the big hammer and chased down the V-shift. Are you kidding me right now? Mizuha had that read a mile away. He walked up onto his doorstep and kicked him in the shins. He gave him a golf swing with his legs, man. He left it on his own yard.
God,
that was actually kind of disgusting. He walked him down.
That was with a forward heavy kick too as well. We talk about blowing up the defensive measures of the likes of not only like Bison, but Dogura to have these reads. And again, call to mash. Going to press himself on a wake up. About to put this man back to sleep. Light blast counter hit. Still, Mizuha doing a fantastic job of making it feel unusual on defense.
Out of there. I love the call out there from Mizuha. I think he's trying to counter something with a standing heavy punch, but pretty much whiffed into nothing, and now it's going to be Dogura trying to figure this all out. He does have a little bit of trigger left, a significant amount, to at least get one more Cycle Crusher in if he needs to, or Command Grab.
Careful whipping that button. The air right there, the trade. Try to get that jump back. Wasn't able to get the side, a little bit too far. Jump in again. Talk about Bison having predictive anti-airs. Weird range, it goes for the low throw. Mizuha on set point, making this feel even more uncomfortable on defense. You see Dogura shift it back and forth. It's so hard to answer. You got to go to hell attack or crouch pierce, but Mizuha close enough to find something nasty. Ooh, a neutral jump, heavy kick, catching the Zonk play. I can do that too.
There we go. Swiping, getting the big confirm off of that. The amount of damage, substantial. The amount of spacing now towards the corner, significant. What's Mizuha gonna do? No, you know what? Dogura, he's gonna back right off. He's not gonna be overzealous about it, but still, look at the activity on defense. Oh, you are a tricky man. That was disgusting too. My man did a fake headstone. My man charged down and pressed up P.
Wow, yo, Dogura, something different. I like that offense. That would have been a flip-flop situation that maybe Mizuha could have matched out and started getting more with trigger situations. Denying that and applying some of that pressure in the right sort of way. Dogura staying on set point and playing his way. When he gets this lead, this is where he likes to live. Let's play that lame style. Make you break down.
I'm still in my own head about the whiffed headstone. So that was actually pretty sick. Anyways, does get the back throw as well. Yeah, he was trying to bait out a usage of maybe the V gauge. Obviously, with that standing heavy punch, he was looking for maybe like a V shift too. So. Ooh. Right now. +1. What do you do about this? Heading on the pressure. Here we go. What are you going to do about this, actually? Activation into the trigger. Oh, boy. Not phased by it at all.
Yeah, not trying to get hit with that crouching heavy punch. No follow-up. From the air right there. Duck blow with a crouching medium punch. Dang, Dogura playing his way. The way of Dogura. The way of the win. And you see him doing things different in terms of when he gets the lead, getting annoying, and I love that we see the neutral jumps too as well. That's less of the Zonk, even the idea of the Zonk coming through, so strong, and doing jumping heavy kick too for the maximum amount of reach. He's so smart, and avoiding the fireball, B-skill absorption. Game to game right here.
I think it's kind of funny that Bison falls susceptible to that exact same tactic too, especially when it comes to like scissor kick usage. Dogura's been a little bit less. Actually, both players are very much so ambiguous in regards to when they want to let loose with their forward advance and special moves. But they're very much so both susceptible to neutral jump, and I do enjoy that.
Oh, try to send it back. The trade, not bad for Dogura because he'll have some V-bar built up in that exchange. Even that standing heavy kick could get caught too as well. You see the idea of these advancing normals overall too, not just the specials, are real good for Dogura to clear jumping heavy kick.
Oh boy. Good rocking whiff. And I love the backdash from Mizuha. Man, the backdash again against the Psycho Axe. The amount of damage, he gets like a trump, the delay! This didn't lead to a ton of damage. No, he goes for a setup. He went for a setup. He actually could have got the stun. If he had gotten a knockout into Oki, I think he would have had maybe a different outcome. But Dogura, diggity Dogura. Shout out to my man F-Word. He actually got away scot-free away from the pressure.
To be able to run it back in a scramble situation like that, it just shows you how strong Dogura is. Sends it right back, thought the X-Off would be quick enough. Crush counter off the heavy kick, ready and steady. Get that throw, jump back though. Jump back, heavy kick, clips the EX, that was reversed. But still, you caught in the corner. EX off against the throw, B-skill, low ruffian for the Oki back rise. No surprise, he's still there. It's a grip, sending fierce activation. Not a bad situation for Dogura, has the lead.
It's so scary. The back throw, are we gonna see the Psycho Axe? We sure are. The trigger is activated from the side of Mizuha, so it makes sense.
Can't be shit. Gotta hold it. So we're testing the waters. See if a possible B-skill is gonna come out on the side, but all it's gonna happen is a one-touch situation with dash in challenge. Can't dash in for free. Medium ruffian caught in the corner. Medium kick, gets a counter hit, and that'll do it with the up ruffian. Final game, final round, Dogura, Mizuha.
This is looking been so intense. So intense for both. You see the meter down below. The advantage going towards Dogura with 2. He's going to spend it a little bit early. The Cycle Inferno. Don't know what that was all about, to be honest with you.
Trying to bail on the action right after. But still, not the best use of the ball. He's off in the corner.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what it could have been. I don't think we saw a counter hit from the side of Mizuha. It could have been movement as the option. He got caught. Very last second. Oh, yes, and I love that. Extending that kick against the heavy punch. Laying on the pressure
that button
as well. Head stomp.
Flip out down for Fierce. He waited a little bit for that flip out situation. So smart. Dogura, that medium kick harassing. Light right back at him though.
The back throw. Walk up into the back throw. Psycho Axe. There's the V shift. But nothing to it after that. Waiting for it. Are we waiting for a Zoc knuckle? Man, dash up 2 times over. Mizuha, you brave soul. Nice and easy. Digging to Dogura, getting the finisher after the Psycho Inferno, getting a big hit against Mizuha. Cleaning it up.
Seeing that Mizuha's breaking down that round for that dashing situation, the way of Dogura is to annoy you, get that lead, keep that lane play all the way through, and get that victory. And you see him utilizing a lot more of those different buttons, a medium kick for the pokes and things like that, light kicks back at from Dogura on the side of Mizuha, but still, the jump ins, everything just adding up in the side of Dogura as he puts more and more on the table, and it's harder for Mizuha to stop.
Another W for one of the Bison mains. We get back-to-back Bisons from our matchups, right? We had one from Inaba, now the other from Dogura. But I will say, from the side of Guile's camp, sorry, from Cody's camp, not as successful. But I will say, on behalf of Mizuha, that was still a very, very, very close match. And down to the very last round, it could have gone either way, which leads us to our final matchup. Macha-bo, surprisingly, coming through with a Bison of his own in preparation for whom, I must ask. We'll find out after these stats are given. Take a look at the anti-airs. 5 out of 11 from the side of Dogura, 3 out of 6 from the side of Mizuha in regards to wake up reversals. Neither player really has that, right? In regards to the strike throw game, you see very similar percentages, but an abundance more from the side of Dogura, right? That back throw could be a little troublesome to deal with.
Exactly, the follow-ups, the down forward Fierce, you're so worried about that. If you don't have any V-bar to deal with it, just adds up in the gray life. And now we're going to see even more Bison play, but this time on the side of Gilgun, as you had pointed out. At this point, I feel like I don't want to demean Macha-bo. If he's pulling up that Bison, he's pulling up that character for a reason. However, the likes of Gachikun and Pugera know how to deal with that matchup maybe a little bit better, because I haven't really seen Macha-bo grind this out year after year compared to 2 people that have stuck with their characters year after year. It's going to be very difficult. Looks like it's going to be Pugera coming through with the Balrog pick. Overall, I think Bison slightly edges out in the matchup, especially because the V-Skill 2 has been nerfed in a way that it's not as plus unless you're using EX bar. But I'm just so curious as to why we see Macha-bo with that Bison pick off the grid. I'm very curious.
I hope we can get some sort of clarity in the pregame interview, but just all things, considered, we take a look at some of the previous records with Gachikun. There's a significant a significant L that he had received from the side of Hiroshima Team Ikuza, and that was from Inaba's Bison. Maybe he sees something here, because the last time these 2 individuals have met, Macha-bo and Gachikun, it was a very, very one-sided victory on behalf of Gachikun. So I'd imagine there's something to be said. There's got to be something that Macha-bo sees in the tapes of the previous footage that gives him enough confidence to go into Bison.
It's going to be difficult, because if you haven't played a character like Bison for a continuous amount of time, like the likes of Dogura, your innate defense is not really built up. Your offense, clearly have it on strong. It's pretty easy to find offense with the likes of Bison. If you're a top-level competitor, that's easy for you. Defense, though, sniffing now is going to be kind of hard, and you're caught up in the corner against the likes of Balrog. The -4 is well spaced up in that place. Just rush down with the EX bar continuously. You can't press any buttons. You're getting crush countered. You're going to be panicked like you're on the Titanic. It might be kind of difficult, the side of Macha-bo, to right that ship without the DP they would typically have with Nakali. We might see him even switch that, but once again, he's going to this match with something on his mind. Macha-bo saying, Bison match is something that he's been prepping either way. Pugera says he is ready for this. He will do his best in this match against Macha-bo. He's ready for this to come through too.
Yeah, I initially thought it was going to be something along the lines of Gachikun and had prepped all that, but I'm kind of curious now. I'm looking at the record so far. I wonder what it's going to take for Macha-bo to commit to something like a Luke, specifically for something like the Balrog matchup, right? But that's not going to be the case. Taking a look at Pugera's record overall, right? We've talked about the point earnings and all that, but we're looking specifically at his matches week after week. I'm kind of curious whether or not there's something in the data. Yeah, I haven't seen any sort of like bad matches from him against any of the current Bisons, right? I think Pugera's been facing off against all the Lukes. Oh, okay. I lied. He faced off against Inaba in week 1. Other than that, he's fought off almost every Luke in the building.
That's unfortunate. That's the opposite of getting a lottery ticket right there. Well, let's see what Macha-bo brings to the table in this first of 3. Macha-bo with the Bison against Pugera with the Balrog. Last time we saw Macha-bo with this Bison, he kind of got cleaned up when he fought against Cody. Momochi's Cody, I should say. So he had some different play.
Yeah, I believe that was week number 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he got swept up 3 games straight. I'm really curious to see what the strategy actually is for Macha-bo. I mean, other than him saying that he's been prepping, I wish we could find out specifically what's in that head of his. We'll see. We'll find out at the final match between Pugera and Macha-bo, Anchor, the Good 8 Squad, and Kyogo.
Well, space that -4. I like that. If it is punishable, that's light into Inferno. Off those tip of the fingers. Macha-bo now getting the fierce counter hit off him in the corner and gets the dash up throw.
Ooh. So problematic right now for Pugera. It truly is. Like, what are you supposed to do out of that lockdown?
Gotta find the gap like that. Finds the activation. The corner push, but not a lot of V-bar used for damage. Gets a knockdown. However, Macha-bo still in the lead. Interrupts the EX scissor kick. Lucky boy.
Back it off him. Comes after that. Trying to check the movement. Pugera absolutely ready for it. He was just crouching down, ready for it. But I want to see the explosion. There we go. The grand low.
Sweep.
Man, that was wrong.
Activation. But, bro, he challenges right back like that. Pugera has him caught up in the corner and gets that throw. But there you go. I will say that the list was closer than I thought it was going to be. Off the grip already. Macha-bo proving that he does have a Bison. So far, so good.
As great as his offensive pressure was, it wasn't enough to seal the W, though. I mean, like, sure, he's putting up great strategies against Pugera this far, but in terms of the long term, what happens when Pugera starts to figure it out? Like, what are you going to do in response? We see now you get back into the corner for the Balrogs. This is where the boxers love to play. You get the big confirm off of the sweep. And might confirm again, not going into the trigger, but if it's blocked, he has to.
Back to square one. -4, medium punch, no conversion off of that. Crush, that fierce. Seeing that button come out a little bit more because you see more of those medium punch buttons coming through the side of Macha-bo. Back up this bar at the bottom for the super. Don't get hit, touched, or tap like that. Be reversal. Get off before a second.
Oh my God, he just ran into the heavy. Disgusting. You know, there's something to be said about the contention after EX dash punch from Macha-bo, knowing full well what the map is like, getting those trades. They're completely undeterred, knowing full well that he's been getting trades off of those EX, or the follow-ups after EX dash punch. He has been completely relentless on offense, but I will say there's something to be said about his defense. He's been extra patient in that corner. He was on timeout for like pretty much half a game or half a round, man. It was like, what, 50 seconds left by the time Macha-bo let him out of the corner, and he still managed to find a way to get the W. Immaculate.
Fantastic right there. Man, he built all that great life too as well on the side of Macha-bo on Pugera. For him to stay that solid in those situations shows you what happens when you play a character for a little bit longer than others. find that crush too as well, peppering that standing fierce in every so often, and build up V-bar too as well, and checking the approach from Macha-bo. Ooh, I like that neutral jump. However, Macha-bo striking back for the activation, denying the slide. A little bit longer.
What happens here? Yeah. Caught by the slide in the back throw. Really unfortunate now for Macha-bo. He does get the big shimmy. More than enough damage. Off to another fantastic start for Pugera. It's been so difficult for Macha-bo on defense to contest.
Back to mid-screen, dash punch gets a counter hit. Looking for that slide, applied with the scissor kicks. With that neutral jump, typical stuff. See against Bison. Real ground, here's Macha-bo.
That's so tough.
With the crouching kick and the scissor kick. Too.
There were a couple of instances where Macha-bo kind of like stepped forward and tried to check the movement from Pugera. As soon as you see Bison moving forward, Pugera is also moving forward. He doesn't care about the normals coming through either. Because again, if you're not maintaining that charge, it's like, what else do I have to fear outside of this normal?
It's true. Back throw, meaty, dash punch, be reversal, keep him caught in the corner. Great life rising. Bar the upper to take him downtown. One more hit in the light.
That was so sick.
Pugera.
One of my favorite things. He definitely did. He was absolutely ready for it. And speaking of which, we talked about that neutral jump being a big deterrent for charge characters or special moves that push the character slightly forward or significantly forward. My man Pugera backed up, sniped down the neutral jump, and hit him with the screw upper. I love seeing that. That's the kind of composure I like seeing for some of these top players, being able to snipe out anti-airs in creative ways.
Yes, yes, and the intention too as well. Like, you know what you want to do. You jump up in that corner, you're gonna get dumped down to the ground, and that may make Macha-bo stay a little bit more grounded in these corner situations and blow up that defensive tactic that he tried to do. Game point right here for Pugera.
Ooh, a little bit overzealous too. I think, he was looking for particular cash out on the Gray Life. It wasn't too significant, but I will say it gave a lot for Macha-bo. That was gonna be the intention. Does get the anti-air as well. Gets himself on the board at least with a round.
Take him down. That corner pressure looking real nasty. Good from the side of Macha-bo. But again, it's about that defense. He's pulling the back foot. Have to see what happens there. EX! Ooh. Yo, from the side of Pugera, snapping in that armor, busting through the gap. Back to neutral. There are options you have to worry about, unfortunately, for Macha-bo. Finds the whip punch, and the B skill, yo! Build that B-bar too as well.
Man, the punish on that dash punch too, just being outside of that space and getting the big whip punish, that was also very impressive. The screw smash and being able to get the juggle, yes sir.
Super sick from Pugera. EX gets him with a B skill, KKB. Looking for a heavy kick.
No, he didn't actually get the jump in continuation. He missed the confirm on the jump in. Combo.
Look at it. Who's going for the EX raw and make him fall?
That's actually so dangerous, man.
Point.
Woo. Wait, did he actually have the rest of his V-trigger left? I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, he did. So I guess he could have been more solid with it. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Smart.
He's big chillin'. I thought he just utilized the armor just because, but if he had V-trigger behind it, he was totally sick. Oh my God, in anticipation for scissor kick. This is looking all Pugera right now. I don't know how else to call it, Sankolo, but it's looking like it's gonna be a done dealioso. Macha-bo might be put 6 feet under.
Hey, yo, bro, it's looking like it might be over. We'll have to see, though. Macha-bo has the bar at the bottom. We haven't really seen it utilized except for that EX scissor kick. The X-Blast will get KKB through, but I want to see more from Macha-bo. I want to see more in terms of that corner pressure and that defense of the deck. The fist connects the crush. Follow-up wakes up with the light for the EX scissor kick knockdown. Hold this back throw. Choke slam down to the ground. Purple stuff.
Now, man, it's so tough. It's so tough to even try to find movement against someone like Pugera, maintaining that charge at all times. Dash punch into EX dash punch. He nails it. 3 games straight in dominant fashion for Good 8 squad, netting themselves 30 points. We talked about what kind of outcomes we could have from both. Well, it looks like Good 8 squad gets to further increase their lead against the rest of the pack. And Gyogun, well, I will say they did break the threshold, but it's still tied with V6 Plus FAV Gaming at 5th place.
That's not what you want to do so late in the season. And this pick may have helped sink them. I'm so surprised again to see Macha-bo run that Bison and stick with it all the way. Because honestly, the play was great in terms of offense. Defense though, he got up in the corner continuously. When he got knocked with that upper, you saw Pugera back up for the express purpose for the anti right there, deleting that neutral jump off the table. It looked like it was done. There was one good round going down from the side of Macha-bo. He had some great offense, but again, on defense is where it really counts. The EX upper, things like that, being peppered in every so often, and the fierce crush count on these medium punch buttons, stuffing continuously. Looking a little free. 3-0 on the side.
Again.
Pugera and Good 8 squad. Man, again, bro, this Bison just not working out for likes of Macha-bo. Not this late in the season.
There's one thing I do want to keep in mind. I think maybe I wonder if that Bison was in preparation for someone like Gachiku, right? I think there was a different way you could have played it with the anchor position. You could have baited it out with maybe Nikali first to get Gachiku to face you off in the anchor spot. Then if you happen to lose, you would switch it up into Bison, right? And I don't think Macha-bo's Nikali did too poorly against Gachikun's Rashid, to be honest with you. So there could have been a moment where you maybe could have got the first W and be able to play the counter poke game at an advantage. So, or the counter pick game at an advantage. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say, you know, it was like, you know, the biggest strategy or the biggest power play for Macha-bo, because all things considered, he hasn't scored any W's, any significant W's at that with Bison.
Yeah, it really did not work out. And that comfortability too as well. If the matchup's not that good on paper, how comfortable you are definitely matters. You see how comfortable he was not on defense with this character, and that takes time. That takes a lot of time to be comfortable in every part of the match. The first part, the middle part, especially the end part, and how you stay solid when it comes to those critical moments comes from just playing a lot with that character, and you don't have the same time as you have with the colleague. In terms of the interview we have for Kawano, he said, I lost 4 games straight in a row. I've never experienced this. He's been practicing 4 times harder, but he'd like to overcome this, and we'd like to see the AO champion overcome this. But honestly, Mago is just playing out of his mind, playing way on point like we like to usually see. Mago on his day is so strong, he's landing those hit confirms and just stuffing a lot of what Kawano wanted to do. We'll take a look at the replay later on, but I like that Kawano noticed that he was lacking today. We'll have to get better because the season is not over.
Not even close, but I will say there's a lot of cushion for Good 8 squad in comparison to the rest of the league, now getting themselves 30 more points in comparison to what happened earlier in the previous matchup. Did he just sneeze, by the way? Bless you. But Nagoya Oja Body Star, again, being able to tie it up no longer, actually. You know, they got their big W with 40 points. It just so happens that Good 8 squad has increased their lead, and it's going to be a real cat and mouse game for who's going to get that #1 seed. It looks like Nagoya Oja Body Star might be the #1 candidate thus far, unless maybe, you know, a certain Shinobiism Gaming has something to say about it.
What is Pugera doing? Is he doing the little dipsy roll? Is he dodging?
Probably.
What's going on with Pugera right there?
Yeah. I also didn't get to mention.
Go ahead.
Yeah. My bad. I actually got a little ahead of myself. Dogura, he was talking about the beginning for his matchup. Mizuha was playing so well, he thought he was going to lose. Mizuha was so aggressive, but his teammates told him that to pretty much get back to his strategy. Right? They told him exactly what he needed to do, and he was able to get the way he wanted to play back into the rafters and actually take it down against Mizuha. So again, it was all about Dogura kind of finding the way of, you know, playing a little bit more passively. I think that's exactly what he did towards the end. He was able to kind of utilize the lame style in towards his benefit, really. Now, Pugera again going in for the Dempsey role. What did he have to say for his post-game interview?
He actually expected the Bison pick and rethought of his tactics. He practiced with Dogura and other players, and honestly, that's also why that situation was kind of bad for Macha-bo. You have one of the best Bison players in the world, not even just Japan, in the world, on your team, easy to practice for, even though there's different stylistic things that come from Street Fighter V players. You have the basis already built up right there when you practice with Dogura. So that was just unfortunate. And I got to point that Dogura did say that Kawano, hey, he said, by the way, Kawano, you lost 4 before in a row. Had to remind him of previous losses losses to get Kawano back in the game. That's kind of rude, but hey, that's how you stay solid when it comes with that honesty. But, you know, it's good that Pugera had that practice with Dogura, and that leads to that mistake of Macha-bo running this character that he already knows how to fight.
Kind of funny. Dogura keeping it real as usual. He's been that way too. He's very much so straightforward. He says what's on his mind, but also he likes to troll people. That's also a very, very big thing. The Gatsukun again being able to route out his feelings for his matchups, or at least his team's matchups. As a team, we've been, I don't know about losing lately. I mean, in week 12, they got 10 points. Okay, he has been losing, 11 and 12. But overall, I don't think they've been really losing per se. They lost 2 weeks in a row, but it's still something to see. Gatsukun and the rest of it. He was glad to have won this. He thinks the next game is their final episode, which it is. They would like to win this as the #1 seed and move on to the playoffs for the grand finals, which is optimal. Obviously, you want to be in that #1 seed to have the home field advantage. Taking a look at the stats, though. The anti-air department, a little tricky as Bison. We see it, 1 out of 4, 25%er.
Unfortunate, again, have to have that predictability and switching up where you stand. It's difficult. It's difficult with Bison. We've seen it with every time that we see a Bison come up on the screen. And it takes a lot of work and time. And right now, the time is looking for a W. Good 8 squad, getting their win, 30 points. And if we're talking about playoffs, they're going to be there. They're going to be at the playoffs, but where they're seated at is definitely going to be. We're going to figure out with their last positioning and with the other players coming in too as well. Now let's look at what happened with Mago versus Kawano. Man, Mago just playing on point tonight. Also find those charge combos you typically want to see with Luke, dumping out the damage, dealing out so much damage, and good meter usage too. But one thing I think that was a little bit different than his usual, than what he had fought at least with Kawano previously, was more of the fireball usage. Hiding his normals around the fireballs every so often with the medium and the lights, and be able to set the range where you're not going to get punished continuously, forcing out like just reactions from the side of Kawano. We saw him waste a bar for the advantage stab. It was just Mago all dang day, and seeing what Luke can do with those crouch mini kicks and those big boy damage. That's what you want to see with this character. That's what we access the most from the character. And those pokes too as well. That medium kick, good closer. And this, hey, I thought it too. I didn't say it. I was like, I'm going to let you say it. But I was like, I think he's dead. However, I think Kawano thought he was dead. You see him sigh a little bit, and the dash up light kick did what he had to do. Yeah.
It took him by surprise, actually. He went, oh, you can kind of see it, a little bit of the facial expression too. We're going into the next match. Mizuha, again, he had the call out. He had such a great offensive start and the right reads on Dogura. It looked like it was going to be all in Mizuha's favor up until the very moment where Dogura started to play the life lead game significantly. This is what I was referring to when I said he was playing lane. He was playing with the timer. He was playing with the life lead very effectively. But in certain moments, he would find these random jump-ins to get in on Mizuha that he wasn't ready for, really. So, looking into that, I will say, Mizuha, there was a moment right here, he tried to go for the setup, right? He could have kept the corner pressure, but instead puts himself in the corner, and I think that's what really took a toll on him mentally afterwards, right? We see how close it was. Let's get the counter hit conversion after that, and it went down to the very last round. I think it could have gone easily in Mizuha's favor, less the last setup. It didn't happen, but moving on to the final match, a big shutout from Pugera.
Absolutely, this was not close at all. Pugera made this man fall. And again, I like the offense from Macha-bo. That's the first layer when it comes to Bison, but the defense on the deck, too much to deal with. Anti-airs, we saw quite a bit from the side of Pugera, or he just stayed outside that distance too as well. Nice fadeaways, nice walkbacks and things like that. And we had him caught up in the corner, a lot of offensive pressure. Look at that upper. Walk back. You thought I was going to come through with the dash punch, but I was really baiting you out for the anti-air upper. Just these tactics got in the mind of Pugera, of Macha-bo. Pugera able to stay solid. There was one good match like right here that was really good on the side of Macha-bo. Had great offense, but again, defense was lacking. No anti right there. He's got to block it out. Crouch fierce ain't gonna reach. And the fact that Macha-bo not able to utilize the bar, maybe you typically see from other characters or other players, I should say, of Bison, was real unfortunate. V-ship was really good for the side of Pugera. The movement, everything that you expect from the likes of Pugera was fantastic. 3-0 sweep. Unfortunately, too practiced in that matchup.
Oh man. To practice indeed. Again, you've had so much experience throughout the entirety of the league and numerous seasons with your character, and also being able to play off against one of the best Bisons in the world. Again, I got to reiterate that point. I think that's a lot to be said, a lot to really weigh in on in consideration for who you're going to be using. But I wonder, I've talked about this point as well. If Macha-bo had kind of thrown out maybe a different character first with Nikali to bait out Gachikun, I wonder how much of a difference it would have made, because Gachikun also has access to the best Bison in the business too. So that's just how it goes, though. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. 30 points to 10. Again, Good 8 Squad increasing their lead. Nagoya Oja Body Star had a little taste of breaking through at that tie position at first with their 40-0 against Hiroshima Team Ikuza and Gyogun. Again, they need to find their wings. They need to find it now. They need to see what they can do for the rest of the league to keep their playoff dreams alive. It really depends on how V6 Plus FAV Gaming do for their matches on Tuesday. And speaking of which, take a look at the match, or take a look at the scoreboard thus far. Again, we talked about that big increase for Good 8 Squad, but also for Nagoya Oja Body Squad, or Nagoya Oja Body Stars.
Shinobi's Gaming right after that. Saishun Console Komoto. V6 in 5th. Good 8 Squad needs those points as soon as possible to get that qualification zone as much as possible, and needs FAV to fail. Detonation probably out. Itsuka definitely
100%.
out. Everything's going to depend on who gets where, who wins what, who gets what points. Every match feels like an anchor match for that express reason, because everyone needs as many points as possible. 40 bombs are definitely the name of the game for everybody to get that better season, to stay in the qualification zone, and to stay solid.
We're getting really, really close to who's going to pretty much duke it out in the playoffs, right? We see this very, very significant showdown between 4th, 5th, as well as 6th. We're going to see how that plays out for the rest of Week 13, but don't forget, again, it's going to be Kamofan Detonation versus Saishun Seoul Kumamoto, right? Saishun Seoul Kumamoto still pretty comfortable. DNG, not as much, unfortunately. V6 Plus FAV Gaming. Can they shut it out against Shinobiism Gaming? Shinobiism Gaming, they're doing just fine at 300 points. But with V6, they're trying to get away with 5th place as much as possible for as long as possible. This is what it's going to look like, right? We still have the conclusion of Week 13, but that faded Week 14, you guys do not want to miss it. Mark your calendars and take a look at which one of these teams are going to be pretty much solidifying their spot for the playoffs.
I can't wait to see it. We're getting so close down to the nitty-gritty. We're getting close to that qualification. Remember, 5 seats, people, 5 seats. Someone's going home and taking a seat on the stands. The rest are going to be moving on to the playoffs. We'll get to see even in December if you buy your tickets. If not, we'll still have it a little bit later on. But hey, for right now, we've had a fantastic time out here watching Street Fighter 5. Continue to play, and I'll see you in the streets. Have a good night.